The arm of Rosedale is located to the north and west of Neepawa, stretching west to Franklin and north to Kelwood. The total land area is 865 square kilometers, divided into 6 wards, each with its own member of council. In addition to several public hearings, this month the Rosedale Council had a delegation from the Planning District to discuss policy revisions and a new tower, as well as from Agassiz MLA Jodie Byram to have a conversation about municipal needs. The issue of the erection of a new antenna tower near Eden has seen some resistance from nearby residents, and there are also some questions about the decision-making process involved, especially since there is a lot of specialized language involved in discussing the issue even at the municipal level. While I do not put myself forward as an expert on the subject, as we reach that point in this month's meeting, I will elaborate on the process that they are discussing and following. Road maintenance is once again a hot topic. The municipality currently has an agreement with the province to maintain the provincial roads within their boundaries. However, the cost of that maintenance is exceeding the amount that they are receiving from the provincial government. The province is offering a new grant to help compensate, and council will be revisiting the agreement. MLA Jodie Byram visits council to hear their concerns and talk about what she might be able to do for them in her new role in the provincial legislature. Council brings forward the landfill issue that they have been facing, as well as the increase in rural crime, particularly theft from farmyards. After several other fairly routine items, the meeting concludes with an equipment discussion around graders and grader blades that gets a little lost in the minutiae, but shows an interesting diversity of opinions on the subject. Also covered at this meeting are the 2024 tax sale, requests for donations, the aggregate bylaw, resource mapping, status of and funding for Kelwood Community Skating Rink, first aid training, and upcoming development agreements. Following is the Arm of Rosedale's January meeting in its entirety.
Be resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting held December the 8th, 2023 be adopted into the curriculum. Excuse me. Curriculum. Do I have a mover? Robert Scott. Seconder. David Cutter. All in favor? Carried.
Mine's empty, so I was going to sit right here.
Be it resolved that the council agrees to adopt the December 2020, 2023 financial statement. Mover. David Turek. Seconder. Burton. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that council approves the accounts for the month and the amounts as follows. December 2023. Excuse me. General 27,000. Oh, sorry. 271,702.67. And water at 868.33 cents. Do I have a mover? Second. Very sure. All in favor? Carried.
So the next item on the agenda is the reconsideration of the motion for the subdivision in regards to the Martins. So the original motion was 23/231, and the suggestion was to update the resolution to include lot 1 and lot 2 rather than lot 1 and a residual parcel. Does anyone have any questions?
It's just a clerical thing, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a clerical update.
Okay, whereas written notice has received at the regular council meeting at December the 8th, 2023, that a motion would be introduced at the next regular meeting of council to amend resolution 2023/231. Now be it resolved that the council of the RM of Rosedale amends resolution 23/231 to reference of lot 2 instead of the referencing a residual parcel in reference to the subdivision proposal by Murray and excuse me, on East-06-15-15 West, providing council the conditions used ordered and mainly from the non-farm dwelling used in the Ag-L1 zone for proposed lot 1. 2, that council use order to be obtained for the non-farm dwelling used in the Ag/L1 zone for proposal lot 2. 3, that the variance order be obtained increasing the maximum site area of proposed lot 1 from 10 acres to 30 acres in the Ag-L1 for proposed lot 1. The variance order obtained increase the maximum site area for the proposed lot 2 from 10 acres to 42.31 acres in the Ag-L1 zone for the proposal lot 2. The owner applicant tied into the development agreement with the RM of Rosedale for lot 1. The owner applicant entered into a development agreement with the RM for lot 2. Do I have a mover? Ernie second. Jeff Henderson. All in favor? Carried.
Is the teams up, Melissa?
Pardon me?
Is the teams up for Diana?
Yep. It's joined there, I just have to run
Okay.
to start the meeting in the office.
Okay.
So when we adjourn this meeting to go to the meeting, I'll run it
Okay.
and start it up.
They were just asking this one.
So the next item on the agenda is the Manitoba Transport and Infrastructure grant for maintenance of the provincial gravel roads. So we had a meeting with Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure last week to get an understanding of what the 10% is. So the RM has entered voluntarily into an agreement with the province to maintain the provincial roads. It's a 3-year agreement. And this is in addition to what they're already paying us. So because we maintain the roads and it costs us more than we get in a grant, they allow us to apply for up to 10% more on an annual basis. Does anyone have any questions?
We should do 10%.
That's the agreement we entered into, so it's better to renegotiate after. I actually just sit in with Melissa at that meeting, just because, and they actually, it was a very good meeting. Little things along the way we can maybe improve, and they will, if we have the spots, say, on Road 471 and needs a little extra maintenance, we can contact their division. They would come out and assess it with us, so they would then probably add a little extra on top of what we're already doing. And it's as per case basis. So it was a very good meeting, very open, so I think going forward, if we need to do a couple little things on certain roads, we'll call them out here and say, okay, let's have a meeting and discuss it, and maybe they'll come to the table and help us out on certain spots.
Or even contract it themselves and
Exactly.
just pay for it, depending on what the issue is. And then I think it's important to note also during that meeting, we were informed that we have 3 superintendents in our zone. So we're dealing with Bertle, Dauphin, and Gladstone
Yes.
area on divisions in the RM. So depending on what road, depends on who we have to reach out to and contact. So it's a little bit complicated in our area.
Is this a brand new contract?
No, it
Sorry,
expires
we just-
2025.
It runs out in 25.
Yeah.
So Rob would be until 25.
Well, it's voluntary. We can exit the contract if we wish, but then
I
that
think
would
we
mean-
lose money on there continually on those roads now with all this hauling. We have no choice of when these people haul. We have no control once they get on that road. Doesn't matter how much it rains. They just pound the devil out, and then the highways is after us gravel it again.
We
Like
did,
it's a-
we spoke to them in regards to that as
Yeah.
well, and asking them if we could put constraints on hauling on the provincial roads, so that we wouldn't have those types of issues. So in spring and fall, or in spring, I guess, when the roads are soft, could we put no haul requirements on those roads so that they're not able to beat the roads up? But I just want approval to apply for the grant.
For the grant, yeah.
Today,
Yeah.
and then we can have further discussion on if we want to remain in the contract or not.
Well, I think it used to work good, but the last few years it's not working so well.
Well, keeping in mind as well that we would lose the funding of $84,000 a year, and then we
Right.
would lose this
But
$9,000.
We'd also have a lot less roads to maintain.
But I think that's a discussion for further, we have no choice.
Further on.
Yeah.
Further on. At this point in time, we have no choice. The only choice we have to is accept this and, move forward and see if we can.
Take the 10%.
Take the 10% now and work forward at a better resolution.
Make it better for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, should we be spending more time on the PRs than our other roads?
So that was part of the conversation too, and we can do less within reason. Yes, and I think that's something we can work towards. Instead of grading them every week, we can go every second week. And I think I do caution council that we have to look at it as per week, daily basis, look at it. If we don't need to be doing it every week, let's do it every second week. And if all of a sudden one week is a kind of a bad week for muddy conditions, whatever, then we have to maintain it accordingly. But maybe we can squish it down.
But we can get this all ordered, or done through another time.
Session.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, further discussion later on.
Further discussion later on. I mean, we got a lot on our agenda
Yeah,
today.
I
so-
agree.
I'll make that motion, Carl.
Okay.
Oh, you gotta read it for a second.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry about that, Carl.
And I apologize, the motions are very lengthy today as well, so I apologize, Carly.
Alright. Whereas the province of Manitoba and the municipality of Rosedale currently have a gravel road agreement in place for the maintenance and repair of gravel surface provincial roads. Whereas the Manitoba infrastructure has agreed to allow eligible municipal to request a grant of up to 10% of the annual value of the agreement for the improvement of the provincial roads in the jurisdiction upon approval. Now, there be it resolved that we, the council of the Army, rural municipality of Rosedale requests the grant of up to 10% of the annual value of the agreement for the improvements of the provincial roads within the municipality of Manitoba transportation and infrastructure. Do I have a motion? Seconder. Short, excuse me. All in favor? Here.
That's what's late testing. That we did, that's what's late testing. I think I was still telling you that was from that western one.
No, I think we'll make sure we put that on our next agenda for the next meeting, that we talk about this provincial roads.
Absolutely. It was a
I
very
think
good
we're getting
meeting.
beat up on.
I think we are too. I agree with you. Okay, okay. Be it resolved that we do now adjourn our regular meeting of council at 10:16 a.m. to hold a public hearing regarding verification conditional use of applications. Do I have a mover? Dave Tutter. Sorry. Seconder, Robert Scott. All in favor? Carried.
Got everything in the way.
I guess we're ready for Scott.
Okay, Diane, we're gonna chime in, hopefully via Teams. Just to see if I'm able to.
Sure.
All right, go ahead.
All right.
So the application number for this one is VCU 03-2023R, and the current owners and applicants are Diane and Murray Martin. The variation proposed for this application is to increase the maximum site area for proposed lot 1 of northeast 6, 15 west from the required 10 acres to the proposed 39.3 acres within the AG1 zone. And the second variation required for this is to increase the maximum site area for the proposed lot 2 of southeast 6, 15 west from the required 10 acres to the proposed 42.31 acres within the AG-L1 zone. Variation is required due to it exceeds the requirements within the zoning bylaw and within our development plan. So that's why the variation is required for this one. And the conditional use required for this is to allow for the location of the non-farm dwelling within the northeast of 6, 15 west, and also a non-farm dwelling within the southeast of 6, 15 west. The conditional use is required as within the zoning bylaw, or the RM of Rosedale zoning bylaw dictates that a non-farm dwelling site needs to be as a conditional use for council's approval. That way council can grant any conditions that they seem to fit this situation. And also within our development plan, it notes it as a conditional use as well. The reason we are in support of it is to create 2 parcels of land, one being 39.3 acres and the residual being 42.31 acres, both having non-farm dwellings. The areas affected are the northeast 6, 15 west, 84-082 Road 89 west, lot 1. And the second is southeast 6, 15 west, lot 2. We have currently not received any comments, concerns from neighboring property owners. Mailing was sent out mid-December. So yeah, we haven't received any communication or anything from anybody, any concerns or against forest. It's pretty standard subdivision. It's been a little. It's been a very different subdivision. The subdivision required for this one was due to the titles being consolidated. So to split these 2 parcels, they have to go through the subdivision process.
And we have 3 public hearings actually today, back to back.
Yes.
So once we're finished, all of the public hearing portion will go back to regular meeting to resolve the items.
Yep.
Just for the folks on the phone, so they're not expecting a decision right now.
Can we say anything at this point in time?
Yes?
Absolutely.
I would just like to say that we were under the belief that they were 2 parcels for 35 years. We did not know that they were under one title, because we had 2 roll numbers all of this time and assumed the roll numbers meant that we had a title on each property. So we were quite surprised when Land's Titles Office said it was under one. And I said, well, how did this happen? We didn't ask for that ever to happen. And he said, we don't make mistakes. So, here we are, now having to ask you to pass something you've already passed. So, yeah, sorry about this.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I guess we can disconnect, or if they want to stay on to listen, they are more than
I don't
welcome.
think, it doesn't really matter.
Would you guys like to stay on to continue on with the public hearings and wait until resolutions are struck, or what would you prefer?
I don't know, what would you suggest?
Sorry.
Yeah, it's up to
Whenever we receive the resolutions, I'd be sending you and Murray the notice of decision on this application. So it's up to
Okay.
you if you want it to stay or not.
All right, well, I think we can leave it in your capable hands.
Thanks, Murray.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take care, have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
I've asked you this before, but I just want to make sure, because to me, it's a good idea. But what are, like, if you want to go on the dark side of that, what are the possible ramifications of starting to rubber stamp these things or allowing these things to happen all the time? Like, where do you see a negative coming up someday?
Like for these subdivisions?
Something like this, yeah. Not necessarily like this example, but just in general.
Really, the only concern would probably lie within the comments portions of a subdivision. Like our development plan notes is you can only do one subdivision for a non-farm dwelling site per quarter. If we were allowing more, agricultural might start posing concerns. Later on, or at that point, you might be taking more agricultural land out of production. 10 acres here, 10 acres there. And if the farmer still wanted to keep the residents on there, you could have essentially 3 dwellings on a parcel. So at that point, you're taking 30 acres out of production. And that's quite a bit if we start adding it up over quarters.
Okay, move on to
Randall and Susie Friesen?
Randall Friesen, yeah, and Sue Friesen's.
Are you presenting this one as well, the
Yes.
conditional? Okay,
Okay.
or the variation?
You have the floor.
I'll do them all. So the application for this variance is V02-2023R. And the current owners is Randall and Susie Friesen, and the applicant was Randall Friesen. The variation proposed is to reduce the minimum south yard setback from the required 50 feet to the proposed 30 feet within the AG, the agricultural general zone. And it's to allow the location of an accessory storage shed. The current area affected is lots 2, plan 7539, northeast of 91915 west, 86-124 road 110 north. And we have received no comments, concerns, anything for this variance.
Okay. You may have any questions on this?
Do I have any concerns?
Do you have any concerns?
Is there a rule of thumb where it's like, there's just one too many storage sheds, or I don't really care about that?
They didn't want a subdivision now.
No.
That neighbor farmer is probably the
One that would have an agreement with it.
So it's just kind of, like, if nobody's complaining.
Nobody's complaining, it doesn't seem to be.
keeps everybody aware. They'll pay
Yeah.
tax on storage shed, all that fun stuff.
Okay, move on to application, Chad Susky.
Probably should wait till 10:15 for this one, because I think Chad's coming in.
What is
So
it?
if you have any other things you want to address at this point, probably do it till then.
Oh, he's scheduled 10:45. Are you wanting to discuss the bylaw, the non-farm dwelling?
Jeff's coming in.
Jeff's gonna come to that.
Good call. I'm not very familiar with this next process on this one, so Jeff's gonna be the one that he's gonna talk about it. I'm not very comfortable in that area yet.
Okay.
I guess myself. Sorry, you want me to phone Chad and tell him to hurry up?
He might be coming.
He might be
He
coming.
might be coming.
Yeah, but there also might be people opposed, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's the problem with that.
Yeah.
So,
If you start
Okay.
prior to it
I just.
and close it before it even starts,
In and outs.
Yeah.
there's
So just
gonna be a lot of
Yeah.
repercussions at that point.
Okay, so, let's go to the public. So we do now adjourn the public hearing at 10:30. To reconvene into our regular meeting. Do I have a mover? Second. Tom Scott. All in favor? Carried. You want to go to correspondence or?
Do you want to make the motions for the 2 hearings now?
Oh, we can do that, yeah. Whereas the public hearing held on Friday, January 12, 20.
Like 2023?
Yeah.
Oh, just 2024. Oh, sorry about that. I probably have that on all of them. Yeah.
You borrowed one of my pens
I've lived in the past.
2024 be representative of the against or proposed variation order conditions used expressed by Diane and Murray Martin on south northeast 6-15-15 west and 84082 road 89 west lot 1 and southeast 6-15-15 west lot 2. Be it resolved that council of the RM of Rosedale approves a variation order to increase the maximum site area for proposal of lot 1 from regular 10 acres to the proposed 30 acres within the A-L1 zone. Increase the maximum site area proposed in lot 2 of southeast 6-15-15 west from a regular 10 acres to the proposed 42.31 acres within the A-L zone 1 zone. Furthermore, that it be resolved that council of the Arnold Rosedale approves the conditionals to the use to allow the location of the non-farm dwelling on northeast 6-15-15 west within the Ag-L1 zone. Allow the location of the non-farm dwelling on southeast 6-15-15 west within the Ag-L1 zone. Not too many 15s here. Okay. Do I have a mover? Sure, seconder Robert Scott. All in favor? Carried. Whereas the public hearing was held on Friday, January 12th, 2024, to hear representation for the against or proposed variation order and conditional use request by Randall Friesen on Lot 2, Plan 7539-Northeast-09-19-15 West and 86124 Road 110 North. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the RNO Rosedale approves the variation order to allow from the maximum south yard setback from the required 50 feet to the proposed 30 feet within the agricultural general zone.
I just made a mistake.
Oh, okay. Struck around.
So just for the record,
Yeah.
it shouldn't have had conditional use, just varied, because that's all they're asking for is a varied order.
So the variation order.
I'll still make the motion.
Question.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Carried.
Did you vote the same? You vote the same. Yeah, so we get done with
Do you want to move to correspondence?
it.
I
You want to move to correspondence next?
might as well.
And then we'll circle back.
And then we can, so we have a request from AMM. And this is just to, they're gonna come out, they would like to have a meeting with us,
Whoever can join. So
whoever
they're-
can join.
Yeah. And we could do it virtually as well. If you guys don't want to actually come to Chambers, I could ask them to send out a link. Some of you could come to Chambers, some of you could stay home. Whatever you guys wish. If you would like to have a meeting with the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, they're willing to come and see us January 31st at 3:30.
You guys think virtual will be good? Virtual or you want in person?
I like the first there.
Okay.
Rules conversation.
We don't have to decide if it's virtual today, just if you guys want to meet, I can make those arrangements.
Get some odds out of the meeting, right?
I would like to have the meeting.
Yeah, no, that's fine with me. I mean, I talked to them quite a bit, so.
So the agenda items that you would like to discuss would need to be supplied by January 17th, so we can forward that to them. And then they would set up the agenda and send it back to us, and then the meeting would occur.
Have you done this before, Robert?
Yeah, yes, they were here first the last term, right?
Yeah.
We kept them up with, yeah, just some of the faces have changed in there, you know. So it was.
He's still in pretty.
So this is a messed up one, because I have a greater amount of so we're requesting to agree to it.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Okay, whereas correspondence was received from the Association of Manitoba Municipalities to request a meeting with members of council that can attend. Be resolved that the Council of the RNO Rosedale request agreed to meet on January 31st, 2024 at 3:30 with the representative from the AMM. Do I have a mover? Second it. All in favor? Carried. So any issues that you have that you want to talk about? Make sure we have it in on the 17th. Before the 17th, I guess, right?
Yeah, so just send me an email and then I'll
What you
compile
want to talk about
everybody's.
so they got a heads up.
How long are they willing to stay for?
Less than an hour. Max will be an hour.
5 minutes. Okay,
It's a multiple choice, I know that.
It's in the letter. It's expected only 1 hour.
Yeah, but Willie.
Yeah, you did ask the question, will we this day?
So multi-material stewardship is just informing us of what we will receive in funding for the documents that we've submitted, which is next. And then the Yellowhead Community Center, I'll let you guys review.
so this is just for the documents that we've sent in.
So then they're telling us that's what we'll receive, will be paid in 2024 now.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah, straightforward, unless anybody's got any questions. Okay, Yellowhead Community Recreation. I read this. I guess they wanna meet with us to put up a, I guess, it's the way I understand this is to.
When I talked to Wayne, they're not looking for funding, they're not looking for anything like that, but they would like to meet with you to explain the project outlook, I guess, and then they're also requesting somebody from council to sit on the steering committee to provide guidance on the project.
So let's come to the next meeting then, also?
Yeah, you can, yeah.
And they're gonna do like a formal presentation? of
Yeah.
what they're planning?
Yeah.
I think or Wayne might just come and discuss.
Just talk.
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I think they were at Langford, members, and all three of them showed up, and they had just a presentation of what they have.
Do the presentation and we can decide if
We want to be on board or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Good at that.
Okay.
He's prepared for both, Carl.
Yeah. Whereas correspondence is received from the Yellowhead Community Rec Center to request a meeting with council in regard to a new recreation plan faculties. Therefore, be it resolved that the Yellowhead Community Rec Center be added to the meeting agenda as the delegations to present to council. Excuse me. Do we have a mover? Simon Costa, seconder. Earl Burton. All in favor? Carried.
Same, yeah.
It's 10:45 now.
Yeah, we'll go back into public hearing.
Double-sided then?
Oh, guys. I maybe I was missing something. Be resolved that we do now adjourn our regular meeting of council at 10:44. And to hold a public hearing regarding the verification and conditional applications. Do I have a mover? Seconder, Cheryl Burton. All in favor? Carried.
I'll be stepping up for my appointment, guys.
Okay. Thanks, Dave.
Good to go.
Good to go?
Okay, the application number for this file is VCU 04-2023R, and current owners of the property is CS Farms Ltd, and the applicant is Chad Susky. The variation requested is to reduce the minimum front yard setback for the dwelling from the required 125 feet to the proposed 65 feet within the AG agricultural general zone. The conditional use is to allow for the location of a non-farm dwelling within the AG agricultural general zone, Current area affected is the southeast of 29, 16 west of 94069 PR 265. And the reason why we've been in support of it is, to satisfy the subdivision requirements to sever a 10-acre parcel from the noted property. We have not received any comments, concerns, anything from any of the neighboring properties at this time either. So it's been a pretty standard subdivision.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Chatsowski is CS Farms, right?
Yes,
That's
yeah,
correct.
right.
Yeah. So he's gonna sever 10 acres from the corporate ownership and put it in his personal name? That's what he's the applicant?
I'm not entirely sure what he intends to do on it right now. As far as I know, he's just wanting to subdivide it. What he does after that is up to his discretion.
And where does 125 feet come from? Why is it 125 feet?
It's within the zoning bylaw. It's,
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Why 125? Like, what was the reason?
I honestly don't know. It was developed well before I started it. I think it was 2018 when the bylaws got adopted. So I honestly couldn't tell you why. I think there might have been something with provincial regulations that might have stemmed from that to have this requirement.
I think at one time, trees had to be planted at 75 feet. Now they've gone to 125. I think that was one of the
Oh, okay.
restrictions, the setback from the road.
Just to keep the snow off of the
Yeah,
road?
I remember when it was 75 feet,
Yeah.
and then it got changed to what it is now. And then still have people vary that for various reasons, I guess.
A lot of the neighboring municipalities also have very standard, they're either 125 feet or 150. So it's pretty consistent with most municipalities.
So, and is there some options again that can, to take it down to 65? Is there something that's gonna, is there a negative impact?
Snow would be the biggest
Just
thing
snow.
right now.
Not there, no.
Not there.
There has been various other applications that have been approved for actually closer than 65.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Okay. NAPD planning.
We gotta come back.
Okay.
Jeff might, I don't know what time, he's in his board meeting right now, so.
Yeah, I said let's continue on in there.
We can please?
Yeah. It's a race.
Okay, now adjourn the public meeting, public meeting,
Do we still have quorum?
hearing, sorry. Okay. 10:49.
We just lost quorum. Well, no, I guess we got 4. So we still have.
We'll take it until they get back.
Oh, it's not coming.
Usually that's around the.
Being out in public meeting is the best
We
time to
convene
go
our
to the
regular
bathroom.
meeting.
Yeah.
Do I have a mover?
Okay. Only because they went first.
Yeah. All in favor? Sure. So whereas the public hearing was held on Friday, January 12th, 2024, hearing representation for the or against the proposed variation order and conditional use of requested by Chatsowski, bracket CS Farms Limited, on southeast 29-16-16 west, 94069 PR Road 265. Therefore be it resolved that the council of the Rosedale Road approves the variation order to reduce the maximum front yard setback from the required 125 feet to proposed 65 feet within the agricultural general zone. Excuse me. Furthermore, be it resolved that Council of the RM of Rosedale approves the conditional use to allow the location of the non-farm dwelling within the agricultural zone, general zone. Do I have a mover?
Sure.
Council Chick, seconder, Robert Scott. All in favor? Carried. Alright, Yellowhead.
No wards.
Oh, wards.
Just for information.
So 500,000.
Wards program.
You want me to go?
So this is just for recycling?
Just so be providing us payment. Just for information.
So this is all information, and this is, I guess we received $828.53 for recycling. Anyone have any questions on that? No? Moving forward. Colonial Hall Committee request donation.
Did you ask them again? Remember we were talking about getting to that rates
More bins?
for like, we were gonna talk to Rolling Acres and Parkview to see if they wanted to have recycling units. And you were gonna mention
It
something.
costs us $250.
Lots of I was wondering, like,
So I wouldn't reach out to them to do that.
okay.
I was talking about removing them from there so we don't have to pay that. Because we're footing the bill for them, when in reality, they should probably be paying the bill, because we don't do that for anybody else.
Okay.
But I understand the reason we're doing it, because then it keeps it out of our landfill and it keeps us from having to transport it to Kelvin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm confused. What's happening?
Well, is this what the bins are, is
The recycling bits. That's colonies.
It's an in-camera discussion.
One call me.
Should be,
It should be in
One
camera.
call me.
should be an
Should be
in-camera
in-camera discussion.
discussion. Okay, Colonial Hall Committee.
Want to put a cabinet in or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's up to you guys, I have to make some motions on this. I mean,
Well, it used to be
it's
first.
$3,000.
Yeah. Well, we're not giving everything, we can give them whatever.
No,
we
I
want,
know, but I
But I
mean-
know it's, yeah.
I don't know either.
They do a little bit there at least, I know that. They do some functions, I mean, it's been,
Maybe we should put a thing on like Bernie Hall as, so
Levy.
around,
oh, I see what you meant.
$40 or $80 or whatever it is up there to
Mhm.
help finance.
Mhm.
I think we got that pretty early hall, well, I guess Mountain Road's not.
No, yeah.
The other halls are.
Most every other one,
Yeah, but I don't think, that's not the.
You mean a special services levy?
That's
Yeah,
it,
right.
right, those orders, yeah. Cause that helps them, it helps them help themselves, it's kind of sense, right, all the
Yeah.
peers around the area pay,
Exactly.
help pay the, bills. It's just, that blows a public hearing, but that's whatever, it's, not a bad idea.
We can also table it if you guys want to discuss further. We can table it to the next meeting if you would like, or we can decide
Yeah,
yes, or
so
we
does it have to
can
be
decide no,
decision, right?
whatever you like.
Sure enough.
You want to table it?
Sure.
Okay, we'll table that till next meeting. Please?
No problem.
I really want to register an objection, like, doing the piecemeal makes it really hard to budget.
Mhm.
Like, instead of deciding, like, we're gonna, like, we budget for gravel, we budget this, like, we should be budgeting for these things and then getting them all together and allocating funds. Because piecemeal makes it so that you accidentally overspend or underspend.
I think the theory previously, Jeff, was that the DLT money all went for donations. That was
Yep.
like your fund money to play with for donation. So I should probably every single month bring you guys the status update for that fund, and then you can
meeting was on the agenda because what the public access television told us. I still think that's the best way to do it. That's how the town of Deepwater does it.
Yeah.
Like when she explained it to us, I'm gonna put a formal resolution on that, that that's how we do it, and then everybody can decide.
There's already a resolution in place for me to come up with something.
Yeah.
It's just not the highest priority item right now for
Right.
me. There's a lot of more high priority items than understanding how we're gonna do donations.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I agree.
26-1.
So Jeff is here.
Yeah.
Do you want to, I don't have an exit because I don't really understand how when delegations just present, do we just exit?
Did you find that lawyer?
Yeah.
She's in here.
Oh,
Okay, she's in
Sharing.
Let him do his thing.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Part of
Oh,
our meeting,
okay.
I think, because that's what it's here for, because we're trying to figure out how to change our
Subdivision.
subdivision stuff.
And then he's gonna speak to the tower as well, the Rogers Tower.
Oh, right, yeah.
So come on now, Jeff.
She's sitting up there.
Okay, so that's
I
gonna.
was almost gonna, thank you, Jeff, I was gonna say, you've been here since like 9 o'clock already. But there's another Jeff at the.
I
I don't know if you're busy or something.
No.
They were too busy for you, Jeff.
Never too busy for the district planning board.
Never, right?
Just stand here and So we're doing the 2 items, that's right? That's okay now?
Yeah.
First one, we'll do this, just the discussion about, well, I guess, just, for the planning district, our development plan in regards to numbers of non-farm subdivisions per quarter, which was brought, well, we typically get a lot of questions about why we only accept one. Our policy right now requires, or only allows one non-farm parcel per quarter. We do get several requests. Most recently, we actually had a formal request to got referred to the starting point is the planning board. It got sent to the planning board for, actually got consideration, it was consideration for an exception on one to allow the second one, which we can't allow because our policies, the policy and the development plan have to be followed to the word, right? So we can't make a one-off exception unless we have criteria for an exception, right? So I guess, so we discussed it at board level, and it's been brought back, it's gonna be brought back to both municipalities, because this will affect the municipalities more than obviously the town, because they don't do non-farm parcels. This is more of a rural thing.
Right.
I guess we're just looking for input about if the councils want to consider allowing more than one non-farm parcel per quarter, or if we want to stick with one non-farm parcel per quarter. We have 2 options if we want to go. Either way, we have to amend our development plan. The wording has to be clear. Either we're, instead of only allowing 1 per quarter, we could say we would allow 2 per quarter, or we can amend it if we choose to allow 1 per quarter, except for, right, if you wanted to do 1 for sure, and then consider a second one based off of certain criteria, that would be another way of approaching it. But I guess first the question is, are we happy with 1? Do we want to consider more than 1? And if we do, how would it be preferred to go? I guess we don't necessarily need an answer today, but I mean, I guess just to bring it up in discussion. So.
Do you want to share with council the actual scenario?
Oh yeah, I could. I don't know if we need exact names. So right now there's a quarter section. Actually, you probably know it. The actual one was Hackowich, Dan and Norma Hackowich. There's one subdivision out there which was taken out many years ago for, I think it was family to construct, and then they constructed their own site. And their consideration is they want to keep. They have to move to town for, health reasons or whatever the reasons are, but they would like to keep the section in the family, but they don't necessarily want to rent the house out. They don't have any family members that would be taking over the house or the section. So that was why their request was. But like I say, as our policies don't say, our policies are pretty clear, only 1, and there's no exceptions. They would either have to leave it as it is, sell the quarter as it is, or be amended, right? So we get a couple a year. This isn't the first one, but this is the first one that's actually a formal request to
consideration, so.
So the way I understand the scenario is basically one property owner subdivided first, so they got to have the house on the parcel. And now this other property owner, who the house is existing, now wants to subdivide the house off the agricultural land.
Right.
So it's not, the two dwellings were already there, both of them used to be just on agricultural land, and now one got the jump on it and subdivided, so now the other one can't.
That's correct, yeah,
Right?
yes, that's correct, yeah. Yeah, they're existing parcels, yeah. Right now, we do, like, there is an option, if you have a large, like say you have one dwelling on a large, say 10-acre parcel, we can split an existing one to create two, but that large parcel has to exist. So if you subdivided out 8 acres 20 years ago, you could take that 8 acres and split it into 2 4s or a certain combination, as long as it doesn't get lower than 2 acres.
Right.
There's a minimum on that one, so there is provisions that way, but this doesn't help the one that's, where there's an existing one with another yard site outside of it, so. Two is an acceptable number under the provincial land use policies. When we reached out to them, they say two would be considered if we choose to amend it. But then I guess you gotta consider is the number of yard sites out, because if you're taking 2 subdivisions out, that still doesn't stop a house and a yard site created on the residual again. So let's say you've got the 160 acres with we'll say our max, we'll say we have 160 acres with a 10-acre yard site. If you're saying you're allowing 2 of those, you're taking 20 acres out, with still the option of somebody building on the residual 140. So you have potential of 30 acres out of production land, right? So that's usually the concern that comes with like agriculture when they review subdivisions, is they want to minimize taking away from production land, right? So
perhaps that could be a clause, if the dwelling is already existing, then we would permit however many subdivisions are required to split the dwelling off of the agricultural land, but maybe not allow new builds to be subdivided.
Like right now, we wouldn't allow a subdivision for a new one. If there's an existing parcel out, you can build a yard site, but you couldn't just pre-subdivide land. It's actually, production land, just to create a yard site. That's a flat no rate as it is, right? But yeah, you'd be correct. Like, I mean, if that was what you wanted to consider as a policy for a consideration of a second one, those would be the items that we would be looking for, right?
Or a clause where the farmland is basically farmable.
Or
so
that,
you can build a house on the area that isn't actually being farmed.
Jeff's got a question.
Yeah, you said flat no informed by your policy, or flat no from Department of Agriculture?
Both. Our policies say that right now. I shouldn't, like, I mean, there's certain, like, I mean, we have criteria, like if you're a retired farmer or something and you want to retain, but even at those sites, if you're just taking it out of production land, it's usually not considered. It would have to be a site like low-lying areas on production land, like maybe small parcels that are severed off by a creek or in a shelter belt area. Technically, we're supposed to push them. If you were retiring and you wanted to take a 10-acre parcel out of production land, as a board and as a council, we're supposed to advise to move it into more of a suitable location that doesn't take away from the production land.
Am I allowed to make a comment here, or am I supposed to listen?
No.
Because I have a personal opinion on housing, and I just, so I'm not speaking necessarily here, but as a person, and that is that we should be doing everything possible to encourage housing and encourage dwelling units. And I'm thinking that the Department of Agriculture has the ability to say no, and I don't have a problem with that authority. And I'm thinking if they don't say no, we shouldn't. And I think that, because I was just doing some math, I was saying to these guys before the meeting started, I was just doing some math, so like Canada's housing shortage. But the 2030 numbers, if you prorate it for the arm of Rosedale, we'd have to build 27 additional houses per year, or dwellings per year in the Arm of Rosedale to do our share to reach the 2030 goals. And so that makes it 162 units by 2030, or 170 if you want to round it up. So we should be building 162 houses here by 2030. So 27 a year, that's a big number, right? So everything we do to limit that, everything we do to stand in the way of that, we're adding to the problem instead of helping the problem. And I realize that 90% of the problem is 3 metropolitan areas in Canada, but still, if we don't do our part, it's just like anything else. If everybody doesn't do their share, then not much gets done, right? So that's where I'm coming from, is that we should be getting more houses here. Old yard sites should be occupied. We should not stand in the way of people trying to make a home, and letting the agricultural side have some veto over, no, you can't take that out of production, don't be silly, you can go here. But we should do everything we can to encourage people to get that house going. It's also self-serving from a councillor, because then there's more revenue coming into the RM,
That's
right?
what I was gonna get to, when we have more revenue.
That's the only way we'll grow our revenues,
Yeah.
if people can build houses.
Yeah, we just have to watch that. We're not clustering the ag. That's like, I mean, the clustering is for the villages and the towns, right? But,
Yeah.
But you're right. If you're now accepting 2, that's, you know, not creating 2. It's maintaining 2. Like it would.
But as we go forward with these corporate farms and just respect to the colonies or anything, they buy these lands, these old yard sites up and everything, and they're gone.
Yeah.
Then our revenue is just a tax on the ag.
Yeah.
And then the issue is they complain when the taxes go up because we gotta supply that service, but there's nobody extra there to compensate it.
Compensate for it.
That, you know, you get more revenue from a house being there than.
So I guess I'm hearing that there's positives towards that. It's just, so what would be the more appropriate route?
I have another opinion on that.
Oh, yeah.
I really want to see additional dwelling units per parcel. Like I know some of them, like the cities now, are saying you're allowed 4 units per parcel of land, as a matter of course. And I'm not saying that we should get maybe that far, but I really think we should be encouraging additional housing units, granny flats, tiny homes, whatever, per parcel that's already
That's what I see.
parcel.
See, like our zoning does allow, well, we have them as secondary suites or something, right? Secondary suites or garden suites. So in addition to what's existing there, they would allow as a secondary suite, whether it's attached to the building or detached, right? So and then we have criteria of sizes and things like that. So we already currently do allow
You do it, but we allow 1, right?
1 secondary suite.
Or am I wrong?
I don't remember. We'd have to check on that.
I honestly don't.
Yeah, I don't know if we limit it to how many. I can't recall that off. Okay, we'll definitely.
Well, it'd be helpful if you can get a second house on the yard site. You know, you're getting that revenue from the house,
Yeah.
but it's not taken away from the farmland, but.
Yeah, like one similar to like, sorry, what's his name? You did one for us. No, just down the road from you there.
Murray,
um,
Murray and Diane.
No, from the vet.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Todd Suter.
Yeah, Suter.
They did one. They put a smaller home on there as a secondary suite and stuff like that. So,
And we should be encouraging more of that because, you know, like there's a lot of parents that,
yeah.
and a lot of kids now that don't want to leave home, they want to stick around and work around here, but they can't afford to rent nothing, buy anything, you know, like.
So I guess jumping forward with this, how would we like to, as far as Rosedale's concerned, would it be as allowing 2 or allowing 1 with a policy to consider a second? Because if that's the case, then we got to start working on criteria.
I would love to.
We
I
have
would
to
just say 2.
because I think that's happened in my own ward, actually. Wanting that, couldn't have it.
And then
We gotta grow somehow.
I also have a question. So if there's already existing properties or existing dwellings, say there's 4 existing dwellings on that quarter and 1 person subdivided, can we have a clause saying that all those existing dwellings would be permitted to be subdivided to be non-farm dwelling in an agricultural zone? I think there needs to be something written about if it's already existing and it's already there, we should be allowing them to subdivide it off the agricultural property
Yeah.
and not limit the number.
You could end up with 4 different owners in the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
I'm still not understanding. What?
So you're saying if there's multiple houses, so typically if there's more than 2, I would say, like if
Yes.
there's 3 houses for whatever reason on that farm ag parcel, that, because right now we would, if we do a subdivision which has 2 on it, we would require 1 to be removed because the
Yes.
zoning requires only 1 dwelling per parcel, right? So if I'm hearing this correct, the question would be that somehow we make, are you considering 2 on 1 parcel or a separate subdivision for each one?
A separate subdivision for each
Okay.
one.
Yeah, because if
Because
somebody
it's
wants to
as well as-
subdivide it off of there,
So then you'd have-
they can all have a subdivision on.
I think
It's,
I agree with that.
But we're still not allowing, we still wouldn't want to allow more than 1 per site. Is that correct?
No, I thought
What?
more than 1% was
Like
permitted
1 per-
because of the granny suite.
Or yes, but I mean 2 full dwellings, like a granny suite is typically limited on size.
Right.
Right, like if we have, because I mean, we do have some farmyards where they have, a house for either the children or mom and dad or something, and there's a lot out there with 2, like,
Well,
these
that's
are
one of those
2 full
things-
houses, not a house and a granny suite, these would be 2 houses, I'm just saying.
And I personally am okay with that. I think if somebody wants to go big or go small,
well, the
that's their
thing is
choice.
you kind of go by your size of the lot. You
Yeah.
got, if you got 10 acres, why couldn't you build a full-size house to have? If you got a smaller package, well, then a granny suite takes down to a smaller size of house. Kind of play it by that way is what I would look at. If you got 10 acres, well, you split off at 5 acres, well, then you got 2,
And the minimum requirement is 2 acres and the maximum is 10 without getting variance, right?
Yeah. And that's geared up towards the wastewater policies, right?
Mhm.
So a minimum of 2 acres for the field, and you need a maximum of 10 for an ejector to exemption, so.
So say like, I'll use my yard as an example, 2-acre yard is what I got. And I say I want to put a granny suite in. Are you gonna say no, that's too small?
No.
Or something like that you could add in?
Yep.
Because.
It's based on the percentage of your dwelling, I think.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it is. There's a certain percentage of your house that you can allow as a granny suite.
Okay, yeah, no, I just curious
It's not-
because,
Obviously, the septic system would have to be sized accordingly to the number of units, right? But
say if you got like a 3-bedroom house, maybe 1-bedroom granny flat.
Yeah.
Or now you got a 4-bedroom house with, same amount of people, like,
Yes,
using that
yes.
same septic field or whatever.
Right, yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
yeah, that would just have to be looked at to make sure that the
Make sure,
size
yeah, it
system
handles.
is appropriate for what it's taking.
Yes.
Yeah. So
currently That's a good thought.
Within the zoning bylaw, from what it reads here, you would be allowed to have 1 garden suite essentially per dwelling.
And I think it should not be referring to a garden suite or a granny flat, it should just be additional dwelling. That way people can do what they want. That's my opinion, not.
That would change the number of dwellings per site, not, because a granny suite, they're limited on size, right? That's a provincial thing, not just us, right? So we would have to either say we would allow 2 dwellings per parcel. And
But
possibly
just an error there, the problem would come into the septic systems. If back to Ernie's 2 acres and they built 2 1,250 square foot houses with 3 bedrooms, and they, with the sewer system becomes a problem for the acreage that you have.
They'd have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I mean, and that'd be part of the permitting process, like that wouldn't be, they would have to get that approved through Manitoba Environment.
I just think that's another way of growing our tax base, but to help out, is if you can put a second house in a yard, well, now you're getting taxes off of 2 houses instead of 1.
And then supporting.
And not taking away.
Assisting with the homelessness issue
Right.
that we have, lack of
It's gonna
dwelling.
help.
Housing
No.
affordability.
The housing issue.
I'll have to check on, make sure there's no provincial land use requirements on number of dwellings per site that would limit us before we start looking at rezoning, right? Because if we're starting getting too many houses now, we really should be start looking at a different zoning classification instead of agriculture, right? That would depend on the number of units, but
And that's what-
knowing there's some desire, we can definitely.
Yeah, we've got to change that for sure.
We can
Because we
definitely
could also
also
apply for the Housing Accelerator Fund monies to help do the bureaucratic side of this. Because although it's mainly the cities that are accessing it right now, there's nothing stopping us, like the RMs or the planning districts accessing the Housing Accelerator Fund.
give you a view.
Yeah, lots. Which is good. Obviously, we're gonna take this back to our board for discussion,
Yeah.
right? So you guys will be there. I guess it would be really good if there is any ideas, like as far as policies or things you would like to look into further this, you definitely get a hold of us or something so we can, because it's a bit of a job to change it and make sure we have everything in there right.
Yeah.
It's a big change, and I'm sure there would, even if we do, there'd be some things that we didn't consider when we get the first subdivision, and then we'd have to figure it out again. So the more thought and more discussion we have, the better, right? So we're still going to discuss this with Liddell Lansdowne as well, as they're a member, but we got snowed out of their meeting yesterday, so
Okay.
we'll be bringing that up.
We definitely have a housing problem, I know that.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. You good on that one?
Yeah, I'm good.
We're good?
Yeah.
That's good for me to go on. Second one is tower. Yeah, communication tower on the northwest 16-16-15.
The erection of any new antenna tower is governed by the ISED, or Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada. If you visit their website, ised-isde.canada.ca, which I will put on screen, and look for Radio Communications in Canada, you will find a document called Facts About Towers. Again, I will put the direct link on screen in case anyone has any difficulty finding it, but this one is a bit of a long one. That document lays out in very plain terms what residents can expect when a tower is proposed, as well as information on tower safety. If you are interested in the full step-by-step procedure that companies must follow when proposing an antenna tower, published as CPC-2-0-03, you can find it linked within that document or by doing a search for that specific publication name. Again, CPC-2-0-03. What is happening at this particular meeting of council is that they are approving the representative of the planning district to sign what is called a letter of concurrence on their behalf. The planning district and municipality's role in signing this letter of concurrence is not to approve or disapprove of the specific decisions made by the company in question, but to affirm that they believe the procedure set out by the ISED was followed.
So right now, the process has come to the point where Land Solutions has done the review process on Rogers' behalf. They're looking for, well, it'd be my office signing it. I'm looking for a little bit of discussion with council. What we have to do now, or what we're being asked to do now, is we have to do two things. We issue them a development permit to locate it on the property. This physically puts it on their assessment, right? Second thing is they require what's called a letter of concurrence signed by the Land Use Authority, which is us on behalf of you. And basically what the letter of concurrence is indicating that we feel that Land Solutions has followed the ISED process for the approval of the siting location of these towers. I'm looking for this particular tower. There was some concerns addressed to Land Solutions. So Land Solutions has offered answers to all of them. I don't necessarily say they've provided confirmation that their concerns were met, but it just answers that in Land Solutions' opinion, the concerns aren't a concern as far as the legislative policies.
Okay.
I've reviewed them. I've reviewed the letters. I've reviewed the responses. I've reviewed the process. I feel fairly heavily and quite confident. I think the only item that remains of a concern is its proximity. That seemed to have been the concurring one. It was asked about moving it further. Are we familiar with the location?
Yeah.
Okay. There was some question about asking about moving it.
No, I can't remember where it was.
Right off Eden, when you head, I'll have a map here. I can show you that.
West on 265.
265, go up.
First intersection.
It'll be right in here.
Section 20.
So you come off the highway there. It's going to be sited right in there. I think I have the site map here.
I think I saw it just right at the very bottom.
Okay.
I think I saw it right in the back.
Yeah.
And there was a request to move.
There was a
this
request,
south.
there was a lot of concerns about the health effects of it, lighting from it, things like that. Under the ISED process, they don't feel that those are, I can't remember the exact word for it. They don't accept those as a legitimate concern. There was a question about the proximity, and it was requested about moving it further south, just to take it away from one of the yard sites. And the response was, its siting is, well, they're like 180 meters away. So essentially, the tower would have to fall over 2 times in length to get close to the property boundary. So under the guidelines, they said that that's an acceptable distance for the height to not be a concern to the neighboring property. So that was their response on the siting of it, and it wasn't
physically kill you, it's okay. Is that the idea?
Yeah, I can't comment on the requirements of nothing about it. So there's a yard site. It doesn't show this yard site crosses across like that, right? As far as its land.
Okay.
And the tower's location is right in here.
And these are the people that wrote the letter.
Yeah, there was one from here and here,
Yeah.
and then Cook's down here, and then there was a petition of names. There's only really 3 letters.
Mm-hmm. And was there a reason why it wasn't moved into there? Or that you are?
The only thing it indicated was that at the property owner's request, they didn't want it further south, and at the same thing for Land Solution in Rogers, this was the ideal location. That was the response. Now our policies on anything towers we have related in the zoning bylaw requires the tower to be set back the height of the tower. So if this was a private tower the person set up, they would have to make sure that tower was the height of the tower away from the boundary, so that if the tower falls, it falls on your own property.
Right.
And the site area that they propose is, like, I guess the agreement that they're making with the landowner is the site area that I'm guessing it's a lease agreement or something. The site area that they're getting is the distance away, so that the tower does fall. It's falling in a parameter that they are approved by the landowner to. Plus, it was another 80 meters away from the property? No, that doesn't sound right.
That was like 30, 40, something like that.
That'd put it 300 feet in off the property line then.
Well, away from the neighboring one, right? So it'll be, I guess, 100 meters in from the road.
Yep,
From the road boundary,
exactly.
100 meters in, and then they're taking 100 meters on either side of it as part of their arrangement with the landowner, and then there was still residual room to the neighboring property. So that was their justification, that there was no concerns from the tower, right? So what the letter of concurrence does, the letter doesn't necessarily stop it. Basically what Land Solutions in this letter is looking for is if we feel that they have followed the process, which in my review they have followed the process. They have answered the concerns, which they've answered. I can't legitimize every answer, but I mean, they've answered the concerns. So I guess it's if right now, if we sign it, that gives concurrence, that means it can proceed. We would issue a development permit. If we do not wish to sign the letter of concurrence, it doesn't necessarily stop it. It just goes to a review board by the minister, and the minister would review the process based off of, did they follow the process? Did they answer the questions? And did they do their efforts to minimize the questions, right? So
this is a federal regulation?
this is federal regulation, right? And it's done in the event that the municipality doesn't have their own. If we had our own process set up for approving these,
Right.
Which we don't,
We don't.
and I hope you don't ask me doing that, because I think it's a huge job. So in the event that the municipality doesn't have one, it goes to the federal process. Rogers reaches out, they hire a company like Land Solution, who follows the ISED process, and then they provide us with the information. I guess we're the review board on behalf of.
If we don't sign the letter of concurrence and it goes to the minister, does the, or let me rephrase that, sorry, if we do sign the letter of concurrence, does the ratepayer that's complaining have the right to appeal? Is there another layer that they can do?
Can we provide clarity on who's signing when Jeff is saying when we sign?
Yeah, when I sign?
The RM is not signing.
I thought the RM had to do it.
No.
We sign on behalf,
They decide on behalf of us.
right?
Yeah.
And I guess if you're asking me, I felt in my review they followed the process,
Yeah.
right? So I feel they followed the process. I don't know if the people are happy with it. If this was a tower of height that we would, and I think it's 30 meters is the maximum height that we would actually consider, anything like that has to follow this process. Then if that was that distance away to the tower, they'd be getting development permit, right? So
Are you advising us that you're signing that letter, or are you asking us for permission?
I guess I'm advising that I'd be prepared to sign it.
Okay.
I'm providing you the information.
Yeah.
Just to verify if you have any concerns with me doing so. Because I feel comfortable in signing it based off what I've read and what they've.
We need to stay on board with progress, I think, is what we need to do, so.
And just for clarity, it's not signing saying the tower isn't in the right place or it's not going to
Right.
provide any health issues. It's signing to say they followed the process federally that they're supposed to follow. We have confidence they followed what they should follow.
We're not approving the site location.
No.
That is a decision that they made. We're not approving, I guess to some degree, we're approving the setback because it goes to a development permit, which in this instance, it would follow the zoning guidelines for setback. So there'd be no concerns that way for a development permit. This is just saying that we have reviewed the process and we feel that they have followed the process.
The only downside I see that just it has nothing to do necessarily with you, but it's the informed consent, and that's one of the consultation roadblocks that's going on in Canada right now. Is that some people don't have the in-house expertise like you. So I think that you've followed the process of this very unfamiliar federal policy that I've touched on very briefly. Is not necessarily it wouldn't be considered informed consent in a hearing, for example. And that's the only concern I have with it. It's just like based on my understanding of what the experts are telling me, it sounds good to me, right? And that's kind of a rough spot for you to be in.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Like I said, I can't answer the effects of the tower. I can't answer. Like I mean, one of the concerns was lighting. Let's say, will they shield it down? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's all a legislative requirement, right? Like, I mean, they shield it down, but they still have to keep it facing out and up for aviation purposes. So, but yeah, so like, I guess that's why we were being asked if they've followed the process, not have they
Implement
satisfied the,
specifications.
right. So, I guess that's why I feel from what I've read that yes, they followed the process. They may not have made everybody happy, but they have followed the process.
Right.
So.
And took everything for account, right? For what they've been asked to do.
From what I'm aware of, yes. Yeah. So.
All right.
So I'm not out of line.
No.
Very good. Any other?
See you on the next one.
Sounds good. I haven't had a concern. We've done a few of these. I've actually done more in a couple in Lansdowne, but this is the first one that I've ever received that has had some concerns. So I guess on one hand for my office, it's helped us. We jumped into the process a little better to understand it, but
Yeah.
so ordinarily I probably would have just signed it if there was no objection. And usually prior to, we try to bring them to council to make you aware that, hey, there's a tower proposed in this site, and because we kind of work with them at the start end as well, like, is there any municipal concerns with building it here, right? And that doesn't take into consideration the people. It's like, what are you building it on? What's the use of the land? Is there something proposed for the land? Things like that as well. We help it off the start, so.
Just want to say thank you for coming. Appreciate all the information and helping us learn the process that's to be followed. So next time, we'll know what we need to do.
You betcha, same with us.
It's the first one that I've ever been a part of.
He's getting the next one.
All right, well, thanks.
Okay,
Thanks for your time, bud.
Happy day. All right. I'm gonna go to tax sale schedule.
We can, I don't know if everybody's reviewed the letter, which is in direct, on the Rogers Tower from Mr. Renee.
Oh.
Just acknowledging that it's been presented on agenda
Yeah, sorry about that.
for review. No worries. I think moving forward, I'll start writing resolutions to accept correspondence that it's been reviewed and checked, just to cover you guys.
Yeah, sorry about that. I
No
just-
worries. Yeah, tax sale schedule, that's an excellent one. So every year we have a tax sale, if we have any properties that are in arrears, so tax services has reached out to set the date. They do not want to set a date on a Friday, because generally they're saying they're not always in the office on a Friday, and they want to be in the office if we need any support from them during the tax sale itself. So she is suggesting to have the tax sale October 17th at 10 a.m., of course, in council. So then we would hire an auctioneer, they would hire an auctioneer, and then we would auction whatever properties the taxes do not get paid on.
Okay.
So because it's not a regular council meeting, which is what I would attempt to schedule for you guys, so you
Right.
don't have to have another meeting, I just wanted to get approval to actually book that date for you guys, so that we have a time scheduled.
Good idea, because you have to put that in the postings too, right? We'll have to go to our.
Yeah, and I need to
information.
provide the information by February 15th, which properties are going to go up for sale. And then the process will begin, they'll start getting notified, and then charges will start being administered to us in regards to those properties not paying.
So we're gonna change our date to satisfy these folks.
We charge a lot of money for their service.
They make a lot of money out of Rosedale.
They're not afraid to charge. I don't know that the bill is worth the service.
From my perspective,
It
it's worth the
would be
service.
cheaper in my eyes to pay them to have somebody in their office the day of our auction, our council meeting, so we can have this tax sale on the day of our
On your day
meeting.
of
Instead of
council?
all of us having to go to a special meeting, they could have somebody in their office for the day that we choose.
I can reach out to Roxy and
That's
request
what
that.
I'm thinking. I
Yeah.
mean, we spend a fair bit of money with this company.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they should be a little bit flexible.
And it's also just in case there's an issue. It's like
Exactly.
that's
And
also.
Friday's a normal work day for
Yeah.
most people. If they don't want to be in there, that shouldn't be our problem.
I like your style.
Yeah, that's, yeah, like that. Yeah, they do actually, that's very well said.
Just in the note, Friday's a work day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One and a half day.
Come in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, and true enough. I mean, if we had our sale in the morning, they're out there half a day.
Exactly. What's
Yeah.
that costing them?
Yeah.
Somebody in the
For us
office
to all
half a
come
day?
in at a special
It
day.
should likely be there anyway.
It should be. Excuse me. I'll pull the muscle.
Smooth. Change his nickname to Smooth.
What's his current nickname?
I went left that She'll tell us. Romeo.
That's how you got her in the first place. Smooth operator.
This is gonna be a challenging one for you. So I'm just gonna say, so therefore, the 2024 tax sale. Furthermore, municipal tax services, that
For the
Will that tax services be requested to provide a date?
It's not
that
taken
falls
on
under
respect, because it's around about
Yeah.
the same price.
Sorry,
Yeah,
it's kind of mishmashed.
I know, that's all right. Whereas correspondence to receive from the tax service to request
And that.
the date of the 2024 tax sale, therefore be it resolved that council of the RM does not agree
Those things not very long.
to the 2024 tax sale date of October 17, 2024. Furthermore, be it resolved that the tax service request to provide
No.
a date that falls on a regular council meeting date. Do I have a mover?
Only.
Scott, seconder. Pretty sure. All in favor? Carried.
We've shopped around a little bit, just on the same amount of space. And these guys are reasonable. We ordered some blades too.
Okay.
Yeah, compared to Brad. Look at.
Westlake request.
Did you try Black Cat blades?
Yeah, we didn't recently, we did get from them before.
Nobody's any good anymore?
I don't know there is. We haven't, I asked Kyle that.
So this is a service, employment.
So Westlake is asking for us to
partnership.
appoint somebody to their board.
To the board.
Still looking.
And I am currently on that board.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I missed several meetings because I was up north. And so I'm back here again, so I can continue to serve if you want me to.
Okay.
It's not, on the bear.
I don't remember this one being on the resolution that we did in November to assign people to committees.
I don't think it was.
It was a new one. That's what we handed it over to Jeff. Just the new one, and then we handed it to Jeff when he first got
Okay, so
on.
we should probably add it to the, yeah, that's probably.
They asked if we'd have,
Right.
you were new in council, we handed it over to you.
George Straw.
Yeah.
Did Bruce not go to that? When he was on council? Wesley? You're sure?
Pretty sure, I don't never remember going to Westlake for anything.
But it doesn't matter, Jeff's on there and he wants to go to it.
Jeff doesn't really want to go, but Jeff will.
Smoothly.
You can slap you in the back and kick your butt at the same time.
Jeff will go to council once and they go.
Oh, no, I should wait first. Sorry.
The
Oh,
curve
no,
is-
actually it's taller.
It's called church step.
Church staff. Come on, church staff.
So we're gonna agree,
Yeah.
and then we'll appoint, and then the member will.
But just for the record, I was doing a very poor job of attending. But I'll have more time this year in order to go north this year.
Whereas correspondence has been received at Westlake Employee Skills and Service Center regarding an invitation to appoint or identify a potential representative to be on the board of board of directors. Be resolved that council of the RMO Rosedale to appoint member to the board at this time. The member will be Councillor Jeff Henderson. Do I have a mover? Seconder.
He was wishing you guys would defeat that motion.
All in favor? Carried.
Sir, you have to run away.
I feel if Ron was here, maybe I could feel you holding your breath.
There you go. Okay. So we're-
Brennan Johnson, request for donation. So this young gentleman had come in just to drop the letter off because I guess he's made the Manitoba Selects and it's a nonprofit football team, and he's just requesting a donation if needed, and then the Arnold Rosedale would go on their jerseys, is the way I understand it. I'm not sure where the Manitoba Selects play out of. But that's the request. So council can decide yay or nay.
Anybody go to shop?
It's all in the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great profile, but I don't know at all.
Did you pick up where the Selects play from?
No, it's really good. Time to board it.
Nice to help them. We can.
So, yeah, they're just looking for a donation.
And this is another one, like, to me
I know.
anyway, that shouldn't be Rosedale money going.
That's,
I admire it and I appreciate it, but I just don't think Rosedale money should go to it.
Because he's not or family's not repairs here, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And you guys don't have to say it's over.
No, it's great.
You can
I'll send it
decide.
on. Yeah, Florida. Well, it says in the very fine print, they're looking for a suitcase carrier.
These guys.
Oh, Manitoba Selects. I think you can move on. I think that's kind of got stale.
Okay. Aggregate. Bylaw.
Are we making a decision on this?
So,
Oh,
We just decided nothing was happening.
Oh, well, we need the document.
Oh, you got it.
It's not happening.
You and your documents.
Well, I need to cover myself. Yeah, this is a little will and will not. I don't know what you guys are.
yeah.
Yeah, the stuff with you, right? If we knew it was Rosedale acres, it'd be better off too for us.
Okay, whereas correspondence received from Brandon Johnson to request donation from the Manitoba Selects football team, be it resolved that the Arnold Rosedale will not donate to the Manitoba Selects the amount of $0 from the BOT funds. Do I have a mover? Seconder? All in favor? Carried.
Can we just cross this out? We'll just say will not, and then there's no, I just put it on there just for if you check will.
It's Jodie Byram coming right at 1 o'clock. We should even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's coming right away, you said?
No, sure, yeah. Should be on, is what I was thinking.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to break too. The next topic is the discussion.
Yeah,
and-
So we're back in time for one.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll break for lunch then.
Sounds great.
Hello.
How's everyone?
Well, good.
We were waiting for a personal escort. Somebody's laptop, I'm not gonna start typing right here.
That works with you?
Yeah. Well, a cold day out there,
Yeah.
warm thoughts in here.
Absolutely.
That a boy.
All day long.
All day long, good stuff. Well, thank you for the opportunity. I just wanted to come and introduce myself in my new role as the MLA for Agassiz. I know we've met many times before for myself in a much different capacity. And I think we met relatively recently here. So I just wanted to come and say thank you for what you do in your municipality and the work that you do, and let you know that I'm here. If there's issues, concerns that you think I need to know about, or you think I can maybe help with in some way, I want you to know that I'm here for that, and to hear if you have any questions or issues that are hot topics today, or anything you feel that I can help you with. Actually, I should maybe go around and introduce my assistant here. Some of you may or may not know Sherry Francis. So she is my constituency assistant, so happy to have her on board. She worked in the lawyer's office here locally for quite a number of years, so she's got a lot of experience on the admin side and knows lots of people and knows lots of stuff. So it's great to have her on board. Another note that I will make is our office is now in Neepawa. It was in Gladstone, but so we have just working on some rentals right now in the old Murray's building, 361 Main Street. It's a lot of space, but it's better than not enough. So
Exactly.
yeah, so we'll hopefully get it set up that we can have a boardroom table in there and have lots of good meetings. So maybe we'll just do a little quick introduction just to, so Sherry is, knows who everyone is. And
I remember.
He's Councillor of Ward 6.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, actually, that's perfect.
I represent all of Rosedale.
My name's Melissa McDonald, I'm the CAO of Rosedale.
Carlson is a Reeve.
I'm Jeff Henderson. I'm a counselor. I live out by Franklin.
Sorry, was it Henderson or Anderson?
Henderson, EGN.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ron Kostenchik, Ward 4. Councillor.
Ernie Shirt, Ward 1.
Dave Toyer, Ward 5.
Robert Scott.
Robert
Ward
Scott.
2.
Sorry, you're Ward 2, Robert?
Yeah,
Perfect.
it's most important word.
That's
The most important.
We're all here, yeah.
We're all here, that's great. So yeah, is there some issues, hot topics that you
Crime.
want to share, or,
Crime.
yeah?
We've got some concern ratepayers. It's getting early, close to home.
I understand that. I've had some calls, actually. I met with the RCMP this week just to discuss and see where things are at, I guess. Just have that dialogue, right?
Yep.
With the RCMP. I know there's been some constituents call the office on that front, and it is getting a little too close to home and a little bit more concerning because the frustration levels are amped up and you don't know what that can lead to.
So I guess that's, we need to do something about that. So whatever we can do, you can do together.
And a lot of it in the northern part of Rosedale? Or is it all?
Right now,
it's
right
all-
now,
but
right now
it's
it's in the
moving.
north, but it's no isolation usually, but right now it's in the north, so. Out Rosedale.
You can tell it depends on where the opportunity arises.
Yeah.
That's where the crime starts, right? So,
Are people locking their things up, but taking some of those steps to,
I would assume, but our closest neighbor actually put a bar at his own door, bars on his own door, in his farmyard, so. I guess we've taken that to the next level too, but that's, it seems a little crazy. I think the result of the crime doesn't meet the crime anymore. That's my personal opinion.
yes, so, their constituents have called on this, so we will hopefully maybe get something set up to meet with the Minister of Justice just to see where things are at, what can we do, what are they going to do to change things. So I can certainly bring that forward.
Awesome, thanks for that.
Yeah, and that was just this week that I met with the RCMP, so I'll draft a letter into the minister.
Our garbage issue.
Okay,
We're running out of landfills.
okay, and we talked about that earlier, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the cost of the new cells and stuff is also a problem.
Yeah.
To build another cell costs fortunes.
Okay.
It's just something that's not gonna go away, Joe. There's always gonna be garbage. And we gotta get somewhere to put it. And what happens is if this Kelwood does fold now, we're gonna start looking at transferring our garbage to Winnipeg or wherever the super site is. which our ratepayers are just gonna go through the ceiling when we start raising our taxes, because we have to haul garbage to Winnipeg.
And then add to Carl's concern, we're not the only RM, but I feel like we are all having to deal with it individually as RMs and find our own solutions, but it's across Manitoba. So if we could have some sort of representation for everybody on how are we gonna solve the garbage issue, because it's rampant across the
And this would
province.
have come up at AMM.
It has come up to the AMM in our Reeve and Mayor meetings. We've issued it to, is it Ian?
Was she?
Yeah.
No. Yes.
Yes, it is
Yeah,
Ian,
Honors,
yeah. And he said that him and Merv would bring it up to the AMM to bring forward, but it is a big issue. We're not, like Melissa said, we're not the only RM. Hamilton right now, they're done, they're hauling to service, and it's phenomenal what they've said they've had to pay to get their garbage hauled.
Is it maybe because the restrictions are getting too much for environment as compared to lessening the restrictions for certain areas? So overregulated?
Regulating?
Overregulated? Is that an issue that causes that?
I don't know. I honestly don't know, but that would be something I could look into. Okay, so the no group effort in terms of AMM, like having one.
It was brought to the board, I think, I'm not sure. We haven't had our meeting after that. It's been tabled as us all sitting together, so.
Because that seems like a waste of resources, having everybody do their own independent.
Absolutely, like,
right?
And I think
Search.
we're all in search of the same resource. So if Souris has a huge landfill, and then every single RM is hauling there, that's not gonna last very long either.
Short-term solution.
And I don't know, I would draw on Robert's expertise on what used to be permitted at the landfill, like we used to be able to burn. So then landfills, I'm assuming, didn't get full as quickly, so they would have a longer lifespan, but some of those,
And we met all
Those
the
items aren't.
requirements and never violated, not really badly.
Kinda not really?
Kinda, sorta, but not really?
Yeah, yeah.
Like there is.
It's a smooth talk.
Wasn't kidding before.
Yeah.
We had a couple of fires there that shouldn't have got going. We had to put them out, so we, they were reported. But we jumped through all the hoops the government set up. We put in the piezometer wells. I don't think the government ever checked them.
Nobody
Never.
polices any of that.
No, they just come in one day and said that we're shutting you down because they didn't like the soil type that the landfill sits on. Well, it's no different than when we started. It's the same soil.
Yeah, for 100 years already.
To get a group together, I guess, where you can sort of do that same sourcing, and would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like, like was said, and I know when we had our meeting there with the Reeves and the mayors, like, it just seems like every RM just seemed to be fighting on their own to find out what to do. There's just when we're all after, like you say, the same piece of that. There's some help to get this done, but I think that's one of my biggest issues right now is, because once our landfills fill up, we're gonna have more garbage in our ditches. We're gonna have a lot of more, especially up in Ron's area and up in where those ravines are and everything like that. People are gonna go and they're gonna start throwing garbage in the ravine.
It's gonna end up in
The bad place.
ditches and, yeah. And leads to other issues. Now, I'm going back without any notes here, but were we at the last, was there a mention of discussing this with another municipality or First Nation community?
I think I brought up that time that.
Yeah, because they were looking at doing something, is that right? Okay.
so I have reached out to their CAO and she redirected me to ODK Engineering because they're overseeing the project. I've sent several emails to ODK and follow-up emails and have never received a response, so. I don't know if they're unwilling to add extra folks to the group.
Because you'd be willing to put in a proposal in that.
We'll just
Or
to see what
see
is,
what they're
yeah, see what they're
working on.
wanting for buy-in or what have you.
Because they are together, right? Alon's is part of that.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think Sandy Bay and Evanflow are also involved in that. That's federal, so.
Okay, Evanflow, okay. I knew Sandy Bay and Alon's, but I didn't.
I think Evanflow's in there too. I'm not sure though.
But we'd still have to truck it to those sites, and we have lots of wasteland in Rosedale that would be, in our opinions, suitable for landfill if managed correctly and all that other stuff, but the hoops that Robert spoke of are just getting more of, and it's a little frustrating. Because trucking is an extreme cost.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we're doing probably more harm to the environment by extra trucking as compared to having.
Not very
land-
green.
Exactly, right? So if you want to spin it that way, that's the other side of that garbage truck.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a day like yesterday, I wonder how that would go. It'd be good because they weren't able to pick up garbage, so.
Yeah.
But,
So, once again, if a internal combustion engine vehicle breaks down, people go, oh, my vehicle broke down. And if there's one tiny little thing about an electric vehicle that might potentially be a problem, wipe the slate clean, we can't possibly talk about it. As we walk past derelict vehicles and they're all internal combustion, Kelwood's got a bunch of them apparently, so I just want to point that out. Just because if you can find a flaw doesn't mean you get to completely disregard. It's a new paradigm, we've got to accept it.
You brought it up. See?
I was just gonna say, Jeff, you're sitting there awfully quiet.
I wouldn't have said a word if you hadn't done that.
You said it wasn't a vehicle.
Yeah, I triggered that.
And then you ripped the Band-Aid.
I think it would be good discussion, but it is good discussion.
Nobody minded the 1950s electrification of rural Manitoba. We all thought it was a great idea. But people that weren't on the electrical grid at that time were fine. But we electrified rural Manitoba in 1950 and we thought it was an excellent value.
Did you see the presentation at AMM where the gentleman was talking about the horse and buggy versus the car, and everybody fought the car, and then eventually, that's exactly, everything has been evolving, so everybody's fighting, and then the next 10 years later, there's only 2 horse and buggies and everybody's driving a car. Same as the computer. It was an excellent presentation.
It's very new, it's very new.
Well, that computer thing's never gonna catch on.
There's
Yeah.
work to do on that.
So
There's hope.
there's hope.
There's hope.
There's hope.
The one thing that I'm really resentful of, like being, first of all, being on council, one thing I'm resentful of is the fact that there seems to be an abdication of like 1990s Paul Martin devolving responsibilities to the province, and then that era, what was it, Dewar and Philman and whatnot, devolving things down to municipalities, and it just seems like, okay, we've finally broken everything. And we all have to start figuring out how to spend to rebuild everything. Like Manitoba Lands Initiative doesn't, like it used to back in the 60s and 70s. Like the Canadian Geographic Service used to have a database of aggregate resources in Canada. And Manitoba Geological Survey used to have stuff like that, but it was all paper. And you used to get maps. You used to be like in 20 years ago, you could get a map of every aggregate resource in the province. Now with Manitoba Lands Initiative on the website, you'd think that with 20 years of computing improvement and 20 years of GPS improvement, that we'd have such granular detail, right? We could click in the arm of Rosedale and say, like, we're looking for a clay deposit. Like, that should be a federal/provincial responsibility to map every single potential clay deposit for these landfills, so that we don't have to hire a consultant every single time. Go check that one, go check that one. Like, the province could simply do an initiative and say, where is all of the clay of sufficient grade for the regulations that we have implemented, because the province implemented them, sometimes under federal rules too, but for the most part it's provincial responsibility, I believe. And if it's a provincial responsibility, a provincial regulation, and a provincial act, then it seems to me that under the Manitoba Lands Initiative, it should be a provincial responsibility to identify, here's where you can get clay for a landfill or a new cell in Kelwood. And then people could then say, I think I have a potential one, and identify it to a geologist or a surveyor or whatever, and get it marked, mapped, tested, graded, and then when we need something, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can go to the website, click on it. And it's like Google, restaurants near me. It's 90% clay deposits near me. And, oh, there they are. And now I'll go and do like a vendor to RM transaction. I think that would be useful, but that's boring, right? But yet it would be really, really
For some,
long-term
it would be
beneficial.
exciting. I'm sure there's the
There's gotta be
person out
somebody.
there.
Somebody must want to do that work in the province. And I just think that that's something that should be pressured. Like, we have 100 years of data that nobody has in a accessible database. And we don't digitize our stuff, and we have so many things that, like, so many reports get done and then lost and then redone and then lost. Like, that's one of the really big frustrations of, like, hire a consultant, get the report, let it collect dust until somebody finally puts it in a box, let that collect dust until somebody finally archives it, and then it's gone, and then somebody starts over. And that's where our searchable databases at the Manitoba Lands Initiative should be better utilized.
I've never seen that website, you know?
Oh, okay. It's
So I'm,
crazy amounts of information in it, but yet somehow still not useful.
interesting point.
It's so close though. It's so very close.
Mhm.
And like I want somebody to tell me on a regular basis how many years left are there in the aquifer that the Carberry potato producers, how many years are left of that aquifer at current pumping rates and current recharge rates, and then estimated ones based on climate changes going over the next 100 years. I also want someone to tell me, like, what's the, like, Rosedale has a pit. What's the lifespan of that pit? How much gravel can we take out of that thing? How many cubic meters per year can we take out before we got to start crushing rock? Because that's a cost that we got to prepare for. But I don't see a database that tells me that. And that's, each individual RM could do it for themselves, but it would be so much more cost effective as a provincial
As a
initiative.
provincial initiative. Very good, thank you.
I'm done now.
That's it?
We gave him 5 minutes.
Okay, I know it's not. That's also ties into like the NIMBYism that's going on right now down by, is it Springfield? Where's the new, that's
Yes,
silica sand
yeah.
mine, cytosilica. Like, something like that is gonna happen here. There's gonna be, somebody's gonna say, you've got a great resource of this here. Like just to the west of us with that new, like Manitoba's first phosphate mine, or phosphate.
Good, Russell.
Yeah, like, nobody thought that was gonna happen, right? And that something like that is gonna happen here, and we're gonna be unprepared for it. And I think that there should be some better, more rigid, more flexible, I don't know, frameworks in place that says, okay, when this happens, how are we going to address it? And right now, it's just like, oh crap, a whole bunch of unprepared people get caught off guard, everybody's wrong-footed, and then there's scrambling. Meanwhile, international businesses are saying, the clock is ticking because I'm going to a different jurisdiction.
Mines and minerals.
Yeah. And I don't want to say, like, I don't want to point fingers because I know that you weren't the MLA, but there wasn't a lot of improvement on that in the last 8 years, right? And everybody had a kind of their own little way to do something, and then things would change, and then things would change. So I would really like to see, like, everybody's got to push together, because it seems that things are too competitive. It seems we all need to work together. And like, what are we trying to do to improve everybody's lives on balance, as opposed to win individual situations?
A team.
Yeah.
A team effort.
Because I imagine you're on lots of committees, and I imagine you have to work really hard to keep the team aspect going.
That's here, right? Team
Yeah.
effort, so. But that's very interesting. You've got some good things forward, I think. Manitoba Lands Initiative. Be Googling that.
Your spirit time?
Right? 4 in the morning, you're just
Nothing
looking
else
for
to do.
something.
Nothing else to do.
Yeah, it's crazy as that sounds, but that's a true story.
I think maybe there's some asset management items as well that we should maybe start looking at, bridges and roads and such, with the transportation today and the hauling that occurs in our RM. Roads were built not to withstand those weights and that amount of traffic. So some of the roads are of course degrading, and I don't think we have the funds to repair all the bridges and roads and such without the assistance of the province.
Did you get extra money last year for, I don't want to say extra money, but it would have been extra for infrastructure?
I think last year we got something for an assessment of our assets.
Okay.
And then we set out a plan, a maintenance plan to repair the bridges, for example.
Okay.
We did just get a rural strategic fund based on population, but it also has caveats tied to it, so we can't just spend it on operating. All the spend needs to be reported
Okay.
back.
Whereas that infrastructure one, there wouldn't have been, it was specific for,
I'm not sure what Kara received, if she did actually receive funds for infrastructure. I don't.
Okay.
I think it was a grant,
So-
to assess our infrastructure, that's what it was,
Yeah.
not to fix it, to assess it.
okay. Okay.
The most recent grant that we did receive, that was a per capita grant. I was wanting to get an assessment done on the water, but it doesn't qualify. So there's projects that we could do, but we can't. Lots of the grants we get don't allow us to utilize that money for
It's
your studies
specific
and such.
to-
Yeah.
Okay. And you wanted to use it on the water?
On a feasibility study. But feasibility studies aren't covered. The work would be covered once the feasibility study was done, but it's getting the funds for the study itself that sometimes is problematic.
So it's restricted in some cases? Okay. And basket funding, that's still how things go through, is the basket funding, am I right?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Because I'm also new.
Okay. And they might be changing that too, so I don't even want to speak about that, so who knows what,
I can
how the
look into
funding
it.
will be delivered. Okay. Any other things, anybody? Nothing, kinda, sorta, really?
What about Crown Lands?
Things are stale on the Crown Land side of it. I did some checking up here just recently, and there are some initiatives that was put forth by previous government is stalled out right now. That's on a nomination program. There's no forms, no paperwork available as of yet.
As of yet.
Yeah, so
Okay.
whether they're still gonna go ahead with that or not, I don't know. It was a great idea, but now it's just stalled, so
Okay.
there's nothing else been done.
Okay.
What I found out recently, now I could have changed, but I doubt it.
Okay.
I think that is quite a topic, I think, for most municipalities. It's, you're sitting in limbo, and even for the leaseholders and that, you know,
Mhm.
10, 15-year lease, it's pretty hard to build on that, if that's your future, right?
Mhm.
If all of a sudden you're building, you know, you got, say, 1,000 acres of lease land, and all of a sudden tomorrow it could be gone.
Mhm.
There's your, you know, your plan is gone for the year, right, or for your decade, or your lifetime span, really, so.
Mhm.
You know, the Interlake area's got a lot of crown lands, a lot of producers up there are quite, that is their bread and butter, if you wanna call it so.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, there'd be quite a bit up in our constituency, up in the northern part.
Yeah, Lonza, Hammer.
Glenella,
Yeah, that area is.
up in there, yeah.
So I know it has been brought up by different municipalities and conversation around the coffee table, if you wanna call it, so.
Mhm. I think
That's a touchy subject.
it is. Okay. Minister Constition just made an announcement about that, did he not?
I'm aware of.
In Dauphin, okay.
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 About the Crown Lands?
Yeah,
I kind of think there was something that came out.
there was some, yeah. Do you subscribe to the news releases here in the office? To the provincial?
I have a lot of subscriptions. I don't know.
That's all right.
I have a lot of things, so I think
And you will get a lot of their information if you subscribe to every department.
Okay.
So they'll give you all their news releases for everything.
Okay.
Everything. Yeah, we
Can
can.
you send me the link?
Yeah, yeah, we can
Right.
send you the link to that.
So we're
And any of you guys can too, if you want to subscribe to all the.
So there's one that was issued, I didn't read it, but there's one that was issued January 2nd.
Mhm. And I don't know if this is,
Do you want my glasses?
Yeah.
That's why I make sure it's like I can't read it. Should.
Do this.
And it takes me, you gotta do all that. The following amendments to the ACL leases and permits regulations. Yeah, so there's a few things here. So this was January 2nd.
Okay, I was checked actually 2 days ago with the land, or the Crown's people in Mendoza branch.
Okay.
They hadn't heard any direction on their end as of then, but.
I can forward that news
Amendments
release
to
to you if you
the,
want. That'd be
amendments to
great.
the ACL leases and permits regulations have now come into effect. And it does go on to say what that is here.
Okay.
I'll forward it to you.
Yeah.
I'll forward it on, and then you can print it off and read it.
Appreciate it. So going forward, if
denial.
we have, say, a situation where we're trying to get a hold of a department in the government,
Mhm.
and you would help us out with that? Be it,
Yeah.
you know,
I will do the best
conservation
I
or
can.
whatever you can.
Absolutely, I will do the best I can.
Okay.
I forwarded it something just yesterday, so I can write in on behalf of the municipality if you feel it will help you get somewhere, yeah.
Sometimes somebody with a bigger stick helps.
Rattle a chain,
Yeah.
The new hospital,
Mhm.
we still haven't heard what our portion's gonna be. Have anybody heard anything?
That's Prairie
I haven't
Mountain
heard
Health,
nothing.
right?
Right?
Prairie
It's
Mountain
good.
Health.
Yeah. RHA.
I thought there was a meeting about that, was there not?
There was back in the fall. and-
Yeah.
Yeah, and they never said anything at that point in time.
No, they have not come up with what our
Yeah.
contribution would be
They were
for
kinda-
price wise.
They were hinting towards this much. And then actually making a donation to green space or whatever, up in front of the hospital, was kind of mentioned. No, maybe that fell on deaf ears, I don't know, or
I like that number very much.
Yeah.
I
but-
think the council should all volunteer to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. Bring your shovel. I'm an artist.
No, that's not quite there yet.
Oh, no, but that's the most green way to get the work done, with shovels and rakes.
Oh, I got my kid.
Can I tell you a green initiative in Clifton? When they built the new ER there, they decided to give them zero maintenance landscaping all the way around. So riprap, bedrock, and then native grasses. Native grasses and perennials that never needed to be mowed. And as soon as they come up all scraggly and ugly looking, everybody went, what the hell? What the heck is this?
Yes.
And they started mowing it. So now the zero maintenance native grasses are mowed regularly using
Industrial size mowers.
industrial sized mowers. It's quite the feat of taking a green project and making it not.
But it would be nice to know what we have to budget for. And I don't think, Robert, they even said how big of area they're going in, did they?
No, I thought we were trying to find out how large is the catchment area for this new hospital? And then we could have figure out some way of how each partner contributed to the cause.
And you've reached out to they've just not gotten back to you on a figure.
Yeah,
The
I
health region.
don't know if
I
there's.
haven't reached out
Oh,
to
you
anybody.
No, I haven't.
Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
okay.
Well, you just seem to have gone quiet. And I know there's new government in power right now, so,
Mhm.
and they're doing a bunch of work too, so. But it'd be nice to know from RHA or whoever's in charge of this. Because we're gonna have to start budgeting for it. No way about it.
And that'd be an annual contribution, or just a one-time
I would think it would like to be a lump sum,
lump sum?
but.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Robert, what you guys did with Country Meadows was.
I remember with Country Meadows, if you had your upfront contribution, then you saved an extra, I'm not sure the percent, but it would sure pay you to have your money when they made the call for the money that you had at the place.
Okay. Mhm.
And if Rosedale was there, I didn't know too, no, I don't want to
Yeah,
say.
no, that's fine.
It's on camera and I don't.
Hasn't made a mistake yet today, so you're.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, if we have to, and I mean, our ratepayers are gonna use that hospital, right?
Right,
So.
yeah.
And so are people from a long ways around are gonna be using this hospital now.
It'll be considered a regional hub.
Exactly.
So
that's,
servicing a lot of.
that was our concern, that who was all contributing.
Okay.
You know, and then your population comes into it, and it's easy to figure out
Mhm.
how much everybody's paying.
What that funding formula is.
Yeah, that's what we gotta find out.
Mhm. Mhm.
Everything's still going hard out here on the hospital, is it?
As far as I know, I haven't yet. Yeah. It looks like they're still working at it. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I know there's still lots of vehicles there, so I
Yeah.
imagine there's been no talk of slowing down, or what about the school?
I've not heard anything. I've not heard anything on the school either.
It's pretty quiet.
And it's not because I haven't asked. Just
Yeah, no.
communication's a little bit different now.
Yeah, I bet, eh? So.
You're on the quiet speaker now.
So, yeah, I haven't heard anything on that. The last correspondence I had was we would hear something in the new year. So, it is a new year, but I've not heard yet. So, that's it.
Anything else?
Suppose you'll be around for the official opening of the new training center here. There'll be something, sure.
Well, it was supposed to be yesterday, but it got canceled, so.
I hope to be. It's been postponed, so I don't know what that date looks like coming forward, so
Okay.
we'll see what happens. But that's gonna be a great asset to the community and
Exactly.
surrounding areas.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And hopefully, years down the road, it can offer other programs as well.
They're just doing the LPN program currently?
Currently, it's just the one program, yeah. But once that's complete, I mean, it's maybe,
Nurses aides or?
could be healthcare, could be something
RNs.
totally unrelated if that's what they so choose. So it's great to
Yeah.
have ACC here to be able to.
Policemen, all the things that were.
Short of.
Short of.
Short
Yeah.
of, yeah.
Need to be builders bigger school if that's the case. We're doing everything we're short of.
Okay, well,
All right.
is there something that you want us to reach out to a department on? And if there is, I'll let you.
Or municipal
discuss
funding.
Or either, that's always gonna be something we can always put an inquiry in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. But you had indicated if that would be something I would be willing to do, and absolutely, so if there is, reach out.
Yeah, for sure.
And we will do what we can.
That sounds great.
Very good, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. And this is something I will do annually for sure, maybe biannually, but if there's anything you guys want to meet or discuss, reach out.
Come to your office.
Come to our office next time where we can
There you
hopefully
go.
have a big boardroom table.
Perfect.
The space will accommodate, so, all right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Share business cards, Jeff?
Oh, yes, I do have some business cards, finally.
Do you have
No
pens?
pens,
We were
no
wanting-
pens.
No, we haven't got that far yet.
Oh, see, I thought that was the first thing you'd do.
No?
Well, we have to retire these pens because
yeah,
they're
see-
now collector items.
see, we got-
Oh,
you got Eileen's pens?
Yeah. And they still work, they're,
Well, I don't use just on Fridays.
oh, just Friday
Yeah,
pens,
just Friday
the
pens.
Friday pens.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Awesome, well, thank you, and
Thank
I
you.
wish you all a great weekend ahead.
Yep, all right, same to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care.
We're here.
Oh, nice.
If you wanna run the, I'll sit back. I won't have to read all that stuff.
Throat will get sore tomorrow.
Yeah.
I feel like we have a scribe, but you should have like somebody that, hey, read this for me.
Like a
Like a
gesture.
gesture, yeah.
You want the job, Jeff?
Or we said gesture.
Oh, Jeff, oh, I thought you had Jeff.
She took.
Oh, shut up. Okay,
Okay. I think we left off on the aggregate bylaw there.
yes,
Yeah, I think this conversation is,
in camera.
yeah, it's a financial,
Well, then we must do this other one too, or this one doesn't matter.
no, those are just, we're not gonna go through them one.
We, no, you can leave that here.
You notice we didn't run after you with it. Yeah, okay, well, we'll have to go in camera for this.
The
Yeah, aggregate.
aggregate bylaw.
Bylaw.
Oh, 910.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just a minute, take a second.
Camera.
Yes, just push this little button here.
Which one?
On the circuit over there. Put your mouse on.
Yes, sir.
Oh, where your cursor is. Slow down. The mouse is too fast for you. I need a slower mouse.
There, just click it once.
There you go. Thank you.
No worries. That's why I teach you everything.
Be it resolved that in accordance with the section 152 bracket 3 of the Municipal Council of the Rural Municipality of the Rosedale, we now move into camera to discuss legal and personal matters. The time beginning 1:48. And further, it be resolved that in accordance with this section 83 bracket 1 bracket D of the Municipal Act, any issues that are discussed will be kept confidential until discussed at a regular meeting of council. Do I have a number? Robert Scott. Seconder? Sure. All in favor? Carried. Okay,
So-
you want to do this on the aggregate?
Yeah, sure. So I had a gentleman come to the office. He was wanting forgiveness on the aggregate bylaw. He had let me know that he wasn't aware of the bylaw existing when he did the job out in Franklin. And I did some research and I looked into it. We've actually had the bylaw in place for a number of years. Prior to 2019, it was in place. So I just wanted to present to council if they would be willing to negotiate with him or if they wanted to implement the bylaw as written today, or how you guys would like to proceed. Don't all talk at once.
Well, I think as a contractor, it's your responsibility to keep up to date on the bylaw situation and the fees charged in all the RMs, not just our own. So that would be my thoughts.
Should be up to him.
Sometimes with the tendering process, sometimes you guys, sometimes the project takes maybe a year or two down the line to get done. So it's their responsibility to stay current before they start maybe the project.
Definitely, yeah, yeah.
So I think it should be with the current bylaw.
Agreed.
And most quotes have this quote valid for 90 days, that sort of thing, just to protect guys from that sort of activity, right?
Yeah.
In case something happens.
Contractor's responsibility.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Any more, Jeff?
I think that we need to have an open house or a coffee house or something with the contractors about our aggregate bylaw. I just think that we just don't seem to be getting the buy-in or the communication. I think we need to do something. I don't know.
Maybe mail out information package would might be better than an open house. So mail out package to the contractors that are
Well, the ones that are done business in the RMA.
Just do a package here, this is what we do, this is the current bylaw.
Yeah.
You guys are responsible for keeping track of bylaws. Please check on that before you're proceeding with the project or whatever.
Well, even something as simple as the road haul agreement too, that they have to sign with the.
Why don't we send out a letter to all the pit guys?
And
Well, Well, I'll let the
And
guys
them
know
as
that
well.
we're calling out. Hey, do you know about this?
Include them into the same
That's
document.
true too, yeah.
Cause they would know who's hauling out of their pits for sure.
Well,
That's
if somebody comes and says,
They'll know
"Oh,
where
buy
it's
your
going."
gravel,
Yeah.
well, here, this is in here too, you know, this is my,
no,
Yeah.
that's a very good idea too, actually, yeah.
Information package. for them
doesn't
all.
matter if somebody comes from Brandon or comes
Yeah,
from Winnipeg.
and it happens, right?
Yeah.
The pit guy goes, hey, did you get this? You gotta have this.
I think probably that's a good idea too, if we're tendering a project, like, cause we put it on Merck, that we should send that out to the folks.
That's it.
Or we should include it in the tender maybe, that
Yeah.
that bylaw applies.
Information package. So,
Maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, that's actually excellent.
I think it'll make things simpler for both of them.
Yeah, cause then nobody can say they never knew about the, or the,
Yeah. Informants.
Because the bylaws aren't secret, but they're also not really publicized. I mean, you have to do the readings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knows when the meetings are, but most guys don't seek that information
No.
out, right?
they don't wanna pay more.
Right.
It doesn't cost much to send it.
No, that's right, yeah, send it back.
Okay.
Okay.
Whereas verbal correspondence was received in regards to the work performed in the Franklin area in 2023, whereas the contractor has requested his concern to be brought to the council, and therefore be it resolved that the RM of Rosedale will enforce the bylaw 5-2022 as passed. Do I have a mover? Robert Scott, seconder. Are you sure? All in favor? Carried.
Okay, so on to new business. So, just as I was reviewing the financial records, for the upcoming budget year, we're setting budget, it's come to my attention that the RM may need, to apply for a line of credit in order to have enough operating funds until we can gather all of our tax levy dollars at the end of October, 2024. So I'm just suggesting that, perhaps I get the authority to work with the credit union to get a line of credit for us. And I know that there is a portion in the municipal act which allows for that. So just wanted to put that out there, so we aren't using our overdraft, we're actually using a line of credit, which would be a lower interest rate.
Good decision, good smart mistake.
Okay, where it has been identified that the RM of Rosedale may require operating funds until such time that the 2024 tax levy are due to be collected in October 31st, 2024, whereas section 173 bracket 1 M states that a council member, council may be may by resident borrow money for the operating expenses during the fiscal year, but the amount borrowed must not exceed the amount collected in the taxes and grants in view of taxes in the previous fiscal year. Therefore, be it resolved that the council of the RM of Rosedale provided the CEO the approval to coordinate the line of credit our current financial institution up to the maximum amount of 75% of taxes collected. Do I have a mover? Seconder, Herbert. All in favor? Carried.
So the next item is the interim budget, so in order for us to move forward to spend any funds in this upcoming year before the budget is struck, which the budget isn't due until May, it's required by section 163 of the Municipal Act that we approve a interim budget. So previously the interim budget would just be approved through resolution with general categories for spending until we can actually get the the budget cast and approved. So right now, we're waiting on some numbers to come in, so we don't have assessment numbers. We have assessment numbers, but we don't have the school tax numbers and those types of things. So we'll be working through getting the budget organized for you guys shortly, and then presenting it, and of course, I'll be soliciting feedback from you as well. But in the meantime, in order for us to spend any funds past January 1st, 2024, we would need to pass an interim budget resolution. So I don't know if you guys want, I had just used what was passed last year for the figures, but I do have previous year figures here if you guys wanted to review them from what was passed in 2021, 2022, and 2023. So I'm not sure if anybody wants to review them.
I wasn't here for this last year, so.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Just kind of a formality, right?
It's just approving us to still pay bills and stuff
Yeah.
until we can actually cast the budget.
Right.
The numbers are just based on the 23, right?
Yes. And some numbers increase, and I'm not quite sure why.
A lot.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why, if there were specific items that were slated to be purchased or what have you. Or if the budget took longer in previous years, so she needed more funds.
Okay.
The resolution, it wouldn't fit on one of my little cards, so I had to fold it in half for you.
That whereas, in accordance with the section 163 of the Municipal Act of Council, the Ardent of Rosedale have made an interim operational budget of all operating and capital expenses of the municipality in the Kelwood Water Utility for the prior January 1st, 2024 until adopted of an annual estimate. Operating requirements, general government service, 200,000. Protective service, 50,000. Transport service, 350,000. Public health and welfare, $10,000. Environmental, excuse me. Environmental development, sorry, 20,000. Economical development, 25,000. Recreation and current development, 25,000. Financial service, 220,000. And environmental health, 150,000. Sorry. Capital requestment borne by reserve, 300,000. Utility operated requirements, 250,000. Do I have a mover? Earl Burton. Seconder? Okay, thank you. Mover, second. Robert Scott. All in favor? Carried.
I do apologize, guys. We've got some greater issues to be on here too, so.
Excuse me.
It's all good deal with it, buddy.
So every year we have to have a tax sale. I'm just actually gonna read this because this explains everything that I'm gonna ask you to do for a motion. So whereas section 365(2) of the Municipal Act provides that council may in any year designate the immediately preceding year or any earlier year as the year for which properties, the taxes in respect of which are in arrears for the year, must be offered for sale by auction to recover the tax arrears and costs. Be it resolved that the designate year for which properties in arrears be offered for sale by auction be 2023, meaning all properties with outstanding taxes from the year 2022 or prior. And be it further resolved that in accordance with section 363(1) of the Municipal Act, costs shall be the actual cost incurred by the municipality for each parcel listed for the tax sale, plus an administrative fee of $50 per roll as set forth in the Manitoba Regulation 50/97. So what this means is anybody that has arrear taxes in 2022 will go for tax sale at the end of the year. So I will compile a list in February, send it to tax services, and then they will start notifying individuals that they're gonna be up for tax sale. And then the tax sale, that's what we're trying to set for October 17th. So I'll reach out to tax services, of course, and ask to get that changed. And then tax services would start trying to get those folks to collect the money and then charge fees, of course, to get the money. But they, tax services actually does some other things as well. So they make sure that everybody's alive, of course. They reach out to land titles, they reach out to the ministers. They make sure all the documents are in place so we can actually sell the property. So if they don't do that for us, or then we would have to do that, and if we make a mistake, there could be not so good repercussions, I think. So I don't know if you guys want to make Carl reread the resolution. Or,
I think you did a good job.
Almost as good as Carl.
or if you agree. Regardless, we have to set a year. You could set 2020, you could set 2021, you could set whatever year, but generally, we're always setting that year prior to.
That makes sense.
So can I have a mover? Seconder? Kostichuk. All in favor? Carried.
Chocolates didn't get far enough away. That's
So we
Janet's
did,
watching you, you know.
the next item is,
That's decent.
Okay, next item, guys.
Just helping us out, were you?
so the next item is approving the emergency plan. So we are required to have an emergency plan as the municipality, and I don't think it's ever been sent in to emergency services or Dwayne that came out to, so every year council is gonna have to approve the emergency plan. So this year, I've asked for an extension because it was supposed to be sent in by the end of December 2023. So they've given us an extension till February 19th. So I'm just asking that council approve the plan as written, and then we have this year to update whatever we want to update in it, and then we would approve it again next year, or I guess this year in 2024 prior to December 31st, and then we just keep sending that into the emergency measures folks.
I have a comment to make.
Okay.
I just wanted to just make a note of the fact that that's my first EMO exercise. And I just thought it was interesting that the two EMO coordinators weren't there, so that the CEO had to fill in. So I just wanted to compliment you on your just being able to step in and take over. That was
It was a real emergency
it
situation.
was, yeah,
It
and that
was
was the
testing
single
us.
most valuable part of it, I think, was that.
You'd almost think she'd done it before.
Yeah,
she
yeah,
handled it.
Testing us.
Yeah, well done.
Very well.
Whereas an emergency mock exercise was conducted in December 2023, whereas an extension of submit the emergency plan was granted with a new deadline of February 19, 2024, therefore be it resolved that the RM of Rosedale approves the municipal emergency plan as written to submit. Do I have a mover? Burton, second Robert Scott. All in favor? Carried.
Will they be providing feedback to you after you submit it?
They may, yeah. He was impressed with how we had all the contacts at the beginning. I would like to improve on that. Just for, these are the folks that you need to contact when you're doing a mock exercise. These are the folks you need to contact if you're actually doing an exercise. And then there's some improvement based on setting up the emergency center and like basically having go bags. What are we gonna need at the center when, if we actually have an emergency? And then radios and such, those types of things. I would like to do some work on that. Basically to improve and have that already, like just things like paper clips and staplers. You might not think about it when you're in an emergency, but some of those things are so valuable when you're in chaos. Yeah.
Because we were lucky so far that there's been no emergency, just the mock I think that's, yes, good idea.
The toolkit idea was great.
Yeah, good idea.
ICP.
Oh, the ICIP grant. So we were awarded a grant from ICIP for the Kelwood Community Skating Rink. We haven't spent the funds. We've only been advanced. We've been advanced $100,000 out of the $212,000 that we will be receiving. The total grant was for $303,000. So the municipality is responsible for the rest of that money. They give us the 212, which is comprised of provincial and federal funds, and then we have to pay the rest. We of course aren't done the project. I've been in contact with the contractors performing the work, but it's not complete and it was supposed to be done by the end of this year. So I've asked her for an extension. She supplied me the paperwork, but part of the paperwork is I need a resolution from council that they're committed to completing the project by the due date. So I am suggesting either March 31st, 2025 or December 31st, 2024, whatever you guys think is reasonable. I'm not sure how much additional work needs to go into that place, but I know Keloa hasn't really been doing any work out there, I don't think. I think he's just kind of getting his feet wet now that he took over from the other contractor. So I just wanted to give him some
Yeah.
time.
Change ownership.
Change ownership.
Change ownership.
Oh, I see.
New owner, the same contractor, basically, yeah.
So I just want it, otherwise we're gonna lose the funding if we don't utilize it. It's all been allocated, so I,
Probably the bigger deadline is better, right?
yeah, I think
Yeah,
maybe March 31st,
Just for the sake of
2025.
it.
And I want to be slightly negative on this one, just so we don't rubber stamp it. But are we committed to finishing it, given budget pressures and the resistance to raising taxes? Because we are going to have to come up with real money. So are we willing to come up with the real money to finish it?
I'm gonna tell you some of the funds have already been spent. We've already paid
Yeah.
for it out of our own pocket. So I did, because there was 3 grants awarded in regards to the rink, I did a spreadsheet of all of the invoices just because I didn't know what had happened previously, what had been applied to previous grants and so on and so forth. So I made a spreadsheet for all of the charges that we had in regards to the rink and got the totals so I could see, do we even need the funding? Do we have enough money to actually, draw on the funds? And we do. There are receipts to put against already that have already been paid out of our general fund. So I think I would have to run the numbers to see if the amount that we've already paid has already covered our portion.
And what's it going to cost us to finish it?
In my spreadsheet, I would have to pull the values, but this grant is 303 and we have 2 other grants for 150 each. And my receipts are for my invoices and my estimates for the additional items that we may need to purchase to finish it, which included boards, would be over $600,000. So all the funds would be allocated.
So approximately 600,000 to complete the rink, to have kids skating.
Well,
Isn't
kids
it
can
there?
skate. Kids can skate now, but invoices have already been paid because this is going back to 2022. Some of these grants. So we could take a look at the spreadsheet if you wanted, or I could bring it to the next meeting if you wanted to see.
Table that for the next meeting.
To see the
Table it,
charges?
Yeah.
But-
So we have a better hold on it, to be honest.
Oh, but they need this.
Yeah, we need this.
We
done.
need the extension.
Yeah.
Let's get the extension and then we can go over,
Yeah.
The finer.
Because
The
we'll
finances.
lose the grant money,
Yeah.
might as well take it.
well, and they've already given us an
Oh,
advance.
okay, so,
Yeah.
It's already sitting in our bank, so.
Good, that.
whereas the RM of Rosedale applied for, rewarded the grant for the Kelwood Community Skating Rink. Grant number CCRIS 1015 from CIP. Therefore be it resolved that the RM of Rosedale is committed to completing the project before March 31st, 2025.
I would say no longer the better is better.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because we were assured there was funds
There are funds.
to complete it.
Yep.
So I have a mover.
Sure.
Robert Scott.
I let him move.
I'll second it.
David Tedder. All in favor? Carried.
the boards are the holdup for that, right? And then we don't have occupancy permit either.
How late do you guys wanna go? Do you wanna end at 4 o'clock, just get through as much as we can, and then we'll table everything for next meeting, or what would you like?
I already told them that we're probably gonna table this from,
I think we can probably get through everything up until then, in the next 20
Yeah.
minutes, cause it's all pretty straightforward.
okay.
What number are we jumping to? Or
First aid.
Okay. First aid, 10-7.
So the Manitoba Health and Safety Officer came out to do a visit, surprise visit at the public workshop, and then they went to water treatment as well. So we have 6 minor infractions that we need to take care of.
Rectify.
I think he was a very agreeable individual, and we will work on getting those six items under control. So one of the items was employee training. So when I looked into the health and safety regulations, Part 5 of the workplace health and safety reg requires employees to be trained in first aid. So for a workplace hour size out at Public Works, it's between 1 and 10 employees. One person would need first aid training. So I'm suggesting that perhaps we get everybody trained. I've got a number of quotes. I'm gonna need to do some work in the background, probably to get more people, or to work with settlement services, because sometimes they run first aid courses too, so that we can get an instructor out here and actually deliver the training to our guys. But it's ranging between like $150 to $200 per person generally. So I guess it's up to you guys if you wanted to train all 3 guys, if you want to train 1 guy.
We might as well have
Whatever you would
Because
like.
the guy with the training might be the guy who needs help.
Yeah,
What about the landfill operators? Do you need to do that as well?
they work alone, so I don't know if they can administer first aid to their own selves.
Or
The
to
person
somebody
that's
that-
there dropping garbage off.
Yeah.
Unless what, sorry?
The person sitting there dropping the garbage off and he keels
Oh,
over.
yeah, maybe.
You know, you can
Yeah.
always be the helpful hand.
Yeah, we could look into it if we think we should.
Might be worthwhile, you know, think
Yeah.
about it.
And the other thing, to fill in the numbers you need to make, that might be,
Yeah,
something
that
that's
might be-
missing on the fire department too. that-
Yeah, the fire
Oh,
department should be
yeah,
easy.
We
the
do-
one
we
in
do-
the Kelwood.
Kelvin is coming due, I think next year, but there might have been guys that are in the middle or something, so.
Okay,
maybe.
let's talk.
Okay.
And then I'll look into the landfill.
I'll get to talk to Brian, the fire department meeting too,
Yeah.
I guess, and see how many guys need a certification or are up to date.
Okay.
We can add some numbers if we need to. It's gotta be done anyways, right?
Because if ours is close to, we could do them all. Take in the
Yeah,
fire guys
and
and the
then
3 and
that,
then.
I think that's gonna lessen the amount. One guy said he can do up to 18 people.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if we said, okay, we'll do 8 people, can you come out? And he says, yeah, it's gonna be this much, then we can say, okay, actually we have 18 people, can we still get? Can we still get that price?
Because, yeah, the one that did us the last time, the lady was, I think there was 20 of us in the building, so she did them all. And it was, but anyway, we might be due again. I'm not sure when my thing expires actually, but just to make that number.
Okay, whereas the health and safety officer conducted an audit of the public works job, whereas the worker education and training was definitely as biased.
Efficiency, sorry, I didn't spell it properly, I don't think.
In regulations of WMIS, whereas part 5 of the workplace safety and health regulation requires an employee to be trained in first aid, therefore it be resolved that the first aid training will be arranged for the public works employees in 2024. Do I have a member? Ron Kosachuk. Seconder, Randy Sure. All in favor?
You know, when you're out and about, seeing things.
Yeah, no, I talked to her yesterday, we found one, we lost before, but.
There seems to be another one.
Hey, next on the agenda.
First aid, way to go consulting. So, as I've been very forthcoming with you in regards to my financial shortcomings, just to let everybody know, I started my finance course this week, so that hopefully those shortcomings slowly diminish. I would just like to ask for approval to engage with Way to Go Consulting in regards to assisting with some of the budgeting process and the financial items as well as administrative duties. And then, I don't know, I think there's an attachment, I think it's they are charging $150 an hour plus mileage. But I'm hoping that maybe we could do a lot over video conference, so they don't actually have to travel out here. to me to explain things, but I would like to be able to engage with them and ask some questions and such, because I know that they have been helping Colleen in the past do things.
Well, they
So-
already know what we're all about, so why not?
That's what I'm asking.
Not
for.
restarting again, so I think it's a great idea.
Well, there's no sense making a mistake now for having to fix it later
Yeah,
for you, so.
I think it's a good investment.
Agreed.
Are you taking courses already, or have they started?
Yeah, I've already completed one, and I'm doing the finance one right now. I
Right
just
now.
started on January 8th.
Also, it's good timing.
Yep, yeah. The first municipal course was very informative, and I think probably was the best course to take first. And then now this one should just support, but there's 6 to take in total. 2 finance ones, this one just.
And is the course load, is it quick enough that it's gonna help you on this, on this budget process, or is it
Yep.
next year?
No, I'll be done April.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
just,
Did you make
it's
up
like
your
regular
percentage?
university. What, how did,
Did you make up?
well, I got an A, of course.
Give her a chocolate.
Come on.
Give her a chocolate.
Feed the bull for nuts.
I did terrible on one
Feed the
assignment,
brain.
I was very upset, so.
What was that?
I did, in my opinion, I did terrible on one assignment, so I was quite upset.
Okay.
So then I tried harder for the last assignment, and I did much better.
And are the municipal service officers, are they helping you with this budget process as well, or have you reached out to them?
I've had some good experience with them and some not so good experiences with them. It just kind of depends who you get, I think, and what their area of expertise is.
Okay, whereas the CAO of the RM of Rosedale requests assistance with administration and financial duties, therefore be it resolved that the RM of Rosedale approve the CAO's engaged with the Way to Go consultant to provide support up to the amount of
$150.
It's up to you guys, if you want to cap it at 5,000, 6,000, 4,000, whatever you want for the 2024 year, it's up to you.
Have you any idea what you think it might cost?
No,
No?
I don't know.
So if we go to limit, then also we need more assistance. We
Then
gotta
I would
do
just
another
ask
resolution,
for
right?
it, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm saying
You think
4 or
it's-
5.
And then if there's a requirement in July, then I'll just ask again if that's.
$250
good.
an hour, a bit more.
Unless you're driving.
Well, most of the time, when they're driving,
Yeah.
so just $150 an hour if you.
Yeah, let's go with 5, and then, we did that last time with, Colleen, it was 5.
And she said they were a huge help for her, so at the
There
time.
was no 6.
Yeah, it was more.
It was, well, let's go with 5 for now.
Sure.
I don't know, we can only do that to it, right?
amount of 5,000 for the year of 2024 year. Do I have a mover?
I'll move it.
Dave Tucker. Seconder. Robert Scott. All in favor?
Oh. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, ma'am. So,
Next.
Hey. Didn't take long.
Oh,
Don't say anything.
no.
so my Manitoba Municipal Administrators Association membership has expired, and it's good for a year. So when I had first arrived, Colleen, I think, had purchased a 6-month membership for me. The membership is $318, I believe, a year. So I'm just asking if I can renew my membership with MLA.
That's necessary evil.
Yeah.
Whereas the Manitoba Municipal Administrator Association members has expired for the CAO of the Army of Rosedale, therefore be it resolved that the CAO be granted the authority to renew her membership. Do I have a mover?
I'll do it.
Earl Burton. Second.
I'll second.
Dave Tutter. All in favor? Carried. Okay,
Okay, so is the next item?
lease agreement.
Yeah,
County
so
courthouse.
we have a lease agreement with North Cypress Langford that we're paying on a monthly basis. The lease agreement expires or renews, I guess, August 1st every year. So I am wondering if council wants to renew that contract, because if they don't want to, or they do want to, I think it's our responsibility to inform North Cypress Langford so they can do their budgeting process appropriately, so that they know that they're getting the funds or they're not getting the funds. So it's up to you guys if you want to, whatever you would like to do. I just want to know if I should be renewing, because it just automatically renews if nothing is
This
said.
is the space that you were talking about, Robert.
Right,
This
this,
space.
this particular office. I'm the one that brought it up, because I thought $500 a month is a lot of money for one meeting.
Yeah.
So I don't know
And
what the rest
I'm
you
with
think.
you on that one.
Me too, actually, yeah.
You know, if it was a reasonable amount, $100 or something, that'd be different. $500 is a lot of money. Yeah.
Nothing to eat on during the meetings.
It's here anyway, yeah.
So then we got to move all the records and everything to it.
I don't know, I guess that's our stuff, is it?
Yeah, we have stuff in these cabinets and stuff there, but we would have at least until August to figure it out. I just think that we should do our due diligence. They're budgeting as well as we're budgeting.
Yeah.
So I think we should at least inform them if we, either way, whichever you decide, if we're going to continue or not.
I say no.
You say no too?
I should know too.
We can go upstairs for free. It's not as handy, but it's also $6,000 a year less.
And it's kind of more formal up there though.
More room.
I don't know what the rest you think.
No, I agree.
That's 6,000.
Okay, whereas the RM of Rosedale entirely to the lease agreement with the RM of North Cypress for the premise commonly known as the county courthouse building, thank you.
You're welcome.
228 or 282 Hamilton Street, Nepal, Manitoba, which is renewed annually on August the 1st. Therefore, be it resolved, the CEO has been granted to authority to inform the RM of North Cypress Langford that the RM of Rosedale will not renew the lease agreement in the upcoming year. Do I have a mover? Robert Scott, seconder. Are you sure? All in favor? Carried.
All right, so every time we do a subdivision, we ask for a development agreement from those folks that we're doing the subdivision with. So the planning district, Nepal Area Planning Board would create the development agreement. They would send it to the person that's wanting to subdivide. That person is bringing it to us, signed generally, and then we, myself and Carl have signing authority on it. So I just want to make sure that all of council is aware of what the development agreements are saying. So moving forward, I will be including them in the meetings and asking permission for Reeve, Snezik, and myself to sign them, just so everybody is aware of what the RM and the landowner are entering into. I'm not sure if that was previously happening.
It's a good idea.
Has everybody had a chance to review it? They're pretty standard.
So this particular one is just the standard agreement, it's not the actual specifics or anything else, right? It's
This
a
is
three-page.
specifically for him,
Yeah,
for
was
Bruce,
credited
yeah, but
back.
generally there are standard templates, so they'll add some things in and some things not, or what have you. But it's basically, they're saying like if you want to move to access the property, it's your cost, things like that, so it's not on
Is this a
if
credit?
they choose to do things.
That's credit.
Typically, in the past, Kara, the CAO would have just handled it all.
What did we return for $1,700?
Whereas the development agreement as requested related to the northeast half 20 2022-15-16 WPM, title number 2813064 in Manitoba. Therefore be it resolved that the CAO and the name of the Arnold Rosedale be granted to authority to sign the development agreement as written on behalf of the municipality. Do I have a mover? Jeff Henderson. Seconder, Ron Concentrac. All in favor? Carried.
Can I figure this down there?
No, let's cover.
Heard the word credit, that's one of the, put that back in the kitty.
Okay.
I lost my agenda again. What's next on there, Carl?
Table the mowing.
We're gonna table that. Okay.
Concentrated on
Committee reports, I guess, accept them as, does anybody have any questions on the CAO report?
No. I don't know.
So maybe just some things to note. Colleen has provided notice that she's going to be retiring. February 5th is when she would like to, is a loose last date. She does have vacation time to use, so she would, I have shared with her that rather than paying her a lump sum, that it would maybe be better for her just to take the vacation. And then we still have access to ask her questions. She's still employed by us, and then she would be willing actually to come in periodically to help with sorting records and things like that, because we're going from 2023 to 2024. So we're moving a bunch of files, sending them downstairs, archive. She would be willing to assist us with that. And then she would ultimately be retired. So we will have to post that position, I guess. So that's one high note, I guess, that
High and low at the same
high
time.
and a low at the same time.
What about, what's her name? Did she ever, is Michelle coming back?
Her leave has been extended to the end of April.
Okay. Okay.
We've just got that maybe 2 weeks ago we received that letter. I have posted the landfill position for casual. One gentleman did come in and have a discussion with me in regards to it, so hopefully he forwards his resume. And we could have another backup individual. And then everything basically we've reviewed it, like there's resolutions now in the meeting requesting for the extension and so on and so forth. So a majority of the information is in here. I guess year-end close is what we're doing right now, so we have to close all of our previous year program for 2023 so we can enter into the 2024 year and start processing invoices and such. There was one animal control complaint from Jack St. Pierre in regard to Alexander's dogs. They were chasing him on his bike, so Dave has spoken to him. And then we also heard from his spouse. She came in, I gave her the bylaw, and she's going in another direction. I think those are the most important things. And then Dave's public works report is documented here as well, what the guys have been doing and fixing and such.
Have any questions asked? And I will free to answer tomorrow.
I guess it's not a question for Dave per se, but because it's public works, and because the landfill is mentioned here in a couple of places, the landfill would, a tenant would like a window in her door so she can let some air in or out.
Okay.
Because all we did put plexiglass in the hole.
I apologize for that. I talked to her about that when she was in the office here, and I said I was going to bring it up.
No, and that's fine, because I mean, I was saying,
totally forgot about
I forgot last month too, so you're off that hook there, but just, I mean, she said she's not looking at any fancy, something that she can open and or close, and so the air can come and go, and I think we did the same with the Eden landfill one, just put plexiglass for her.
We've got a couple issues with both landfill sites to do some work on the doors. One is weather stripping at Eden, and the other is apparently window there. So
Okay, no, because I was saying it's not like even a camper window, like the ones with the, there's the simple slide, like she's not looking for much, just something to open.
Just something open.
Right there.
And they would like lights.
Oh,
They would like lighting in there as well.
Lighting in there?
well, I suggested a solar, like we did that in one of our outbuildings, just put a solar panel with a little light on the inside. When you walk in, the light goes on. It's 35 or 40 bucks we pay for that
We'll
light.
do some
Slick.
research into that too.
Yeah.
Pretty slick.
Economical way of doing it, I guess, put it that way.
Yeah, it is.
Because we could also reduce the hours of the landfill, like in the winter when it starts at
Yeah.
4 o'clock
Yeah, I put one
and
on
close the
my
landfill when it starts, rather than leaving it open.
In the dark.
Yeah,
It cost me
there's that
$10
Yeah.
opportunity as well.
He's just screwed on it.
Okay, be it resolved that, or is there any more questions? Be it resolved that the list of community reports be received as information November 2023 NAPD meeting minutes, December 28, 23 Calvert LED meetings, and number 3 the CAO's report in January. Do I have a mover? Scott, second. Robert. All in favor? Carried.
Complicated, but it is.
Some stuff I have to go back to.
Yes, and all the stuff that went back is all listed here in the stage here. Look at those garages that Robert mentioned, everything, it's all listed on, so we'll just credit that.
Okay, open discussion, I'm gonna let you go with that. Greater Blade, 5 minutes.
Well, look at taking these picks off because I've been looking into blades. And just looking at the guys, like they're doing a good job. But going down the roads, they're just disturbing the gravel all the time. The gravel's just flying. It's crazy how much gravel's going in the ditch. You can see it in the white snow. It's just it's crazy. So I got digging into some blades. Cattle sell us blades. They're 8 foot long, 3/4 inch thick blades. For $248 a blade. And then I did some more digging. I talked to my nephew, which runs a grader. He changes his blades 4 times a year. He uses 8 blades in a year. A full year. He says if he uses the 5/8 blades, he'll go 3 times. If he uses the 3/4, they go double the length.
My question is, oh, sorry, Robert. What are those blades that we have sitting in stock?
We have some blades on hand, and in all honesty, I know there's been a big discussion, and I understand that. I'm going to tread in the water, or get ice here if you want to call it. But at the present time, I do have a plan for those blades going forward. Come springtime, my idea is to go out with straight blades on the graders and just pull the shoulder. So we'll be utilizing our straight blades that we do have currently on stock going forward come this spring, bring the edges up, and then we can go back to a pick straight blade combination, you know, switch between graders. I hesitate a little bit going away from both picks, to be honest with you, because of cost. Well, recent numbers, these are recent numbers, previous numbers, when we were going with the straight blades that were being bought by Bianco, and these numbers came from Josh Bianco. He said, you're gonna be spending $7,500 to $10,000 more a year than what we're doing now. Figures he gave me. He said, you guys be crazy, not that you use that word, but foolish to go back to that, to straights as compared to picks. And I know you guys have seen invoices on the picks, and I've seen some faces around the table change color. But we have to remember that those picks, we've changed quite a few recently, only because nothing got changed during the summer. We didn't buy any picks during the summer. So it looks bad at the present, and that's, like I say, I'm not trying to make excuses, but that was the actual fact that I can present to you.
We're going in the long run, saying that, or whatever the number was.
So $7,500 difference.
But how much do you think we're losing in gravel?
That's the question. Yeah. Are we losing gravel with picks on or not? I don't know. Yeah. There's room to argue on that one. There's been numerous times where, and like I say, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus here. Ron, you mentioned this year, you went back in November, we had all that ice and that. Hey, great, they got the picks on, they could do the job at a certain time, right? There's a place and time for every tool in the toolbox.
Correct.
So maybe we should, I'm not saying dance around this situation, but maybe do a bit of experimenting, I guess, going forward.
I watched Inglis. They got their graders got it. They go down to the lake down there, Lake of the Prairies. I was down there working. I watched their graders go down there. They got both. They got on the back of the blade, they got picks, and on the front, they got blades.
Guy told me that James from Stormont Cat come up to do the instructing to the guys when they go up in the grader. He mentioned about picks versus straight blades. He loves the picks. He is totally sold on that. He said, do never go back to the double system where you got straight picks. He says you'll be those pick systems go on the backside, and they're just held on by the backside with a washer basically. And you're going to be picking them off the side of the road. They don't stay on.
English never had an issue. And I watched them do the whole part down there with them on.
Yeah.
I watched them. The lady that I was working for is actually a counselor at English. She was one down. She said they would never, and she said it was the guy from Diablo that set them up with it.
Yeah, well, that's where this James had said with that Dianco system come with a double. He says, don't ever do that, guys. He says, don't ever do that.
I just want to mention that we've been getting a lot of compliments lately on the work that is being done by the Public Works team. And I think we need to pull council out from the day-to-day operation and the day-to-day tools that we're using. It's like, we should be focusing on policy and procedure, not on what the Public Works folks are using for equipment. So if we ever get a foreman, and of course Dave is council, but he's acting as foreman, I would rely on his expertise to compromise and do the best job that we can do with the equipment that we have available. Nobody here at this table is saying we're gonna only use picks and we're gonna only use blades. We wanna use the tools for the job. So, for example, we wouldn't use a rubber mallet to pound in a hammer, but it's still a hammer.
But before these picks come around, like say about 10 years ago, there was no picks. What did they use?
I know, but I don't think
What
the
do they
picks
use?
were the only issue, Ron. I think the way we were grading was an issue. I don't think we were cutting the shoulders. I don't think we're rolling the gravel back on the road. There's a bunch of things that we need to fix, and I think we are gonna use straight blades and we are gonna use picks, but it's not just the pick straight blade issue. There's other things that weren't being done that we now need to do again, just cutting like Jeff's road back so it could drain more appropriately.
Well, then it's definitely need straight blades for that.
That has helped, right? That's right.
It's
So-
the only common sense.
Straight blades is more money than
Yeah.
a curb blade, to let you know.
The straights are more than curves.
Way more.
But we do have curves.
I'm just saying, it's the curb blades that are cheaper than the straight blade.
Yeah.
So,
Straight blades are the only way to go. I mean, or a curb blade for cutting, yes, definitely.
So
Yeah, you can't
I
cut
want you
saw
guys
with
to
a pin.
elevate out of the details. Pull up and focus on policy and procedure, because the reason that we're in the state that we're in is because we're focusing on the details. Let's pull up, let Public Works do Public Works stuff. Don't worry about the blades and the equipment and that sort of, I understand everybody's very passionate around this table. We've had this conversation numerous times.
oh, I know,
But just
if you
give
look
us a
at the problem
chance.
here, that when the taxpayer calls you and he says, why is all the gravel going in that ditch? What are you supposed to tell him? Phone the office and talk to them?
I think there's multiple issues though, Ernie, right? We weren't cutting the shoulders.
No.
It's,
We
I'm not
weren't
even worried
rolling
about
the
that right now,
gravel
I'm just
back
worried about
in.
what I'm seeing now, this is where they see it, it's all in that
Maybe
ditch.
we were applying too much gravel in some places as well.
Like, man, like, there's just way too much gravel, and then like everybody says, cut back on gravel, we can't cut back on gravel.
No, because a lot
It's
of
all
our gravel.
going in the ditch, we just don't cutting back, like,
No.
you gotta put it on there, 'cause it just turns to mud if you don't,
A lot of our stone is going in the
Yeah.
ditch.
it's all legal.
I think that there's some compromise on the table. I'm not hearing any compromise from you.
Well, I
We're
want to
presenting
compromise,
that
but
we would like to use the
nobody's
tools for the
compromising putting
job.
the blades on to see the difference here. We had a grader that had blades on it, like straight blade.
Dave just shared with you that.
That's come spring,
that
but
we
I
do
mean now,
have
right in
that.
winter, right now, when you really could use them.
So is there a way that we can put one light on?
Well, I was just gonna suggest that, and I'm
Like,
very
you're
cautious.
looking at
of this.
$500
Okay,
for-
we'll change one grader to straight blades for now. Okay, we can do
Mhm.
that, and let's see what happens.
But don't put the straights on, put the curves on.
Or the curve part, yeah.
And like I said-
What we have in stock.
Cat, I talked to Cat about them, and Cat said that was $248. That's not even giving us a deal. Like, that's just $248. That's just straight off the,
Yeah.
for two 8-foot blades.
The 6-foot blade goes on the one-way plows. Yeah, and the wings too. But on the mobile work, you'll have 8 foots.
Do they have a 2-foot extension on them?
Yeah, well, no, they take the extension off, so it'll be
7 footers.
7 footers on that.
See,
Yeah.
seeing where my nephew runs, he doesn't take them off, they stay on. extensions stay on through the winter.
Yeah.
And they run 2/8.
Our operators don't like extensions on there.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, they run 2/8.
So you know what, they're the guys running the graders on too. Relying on their expertise a little bit too.
How do they know what they like when they're new?
There's none of our grader operators have run with the extensions on, they don't know.
Yeah.
And that's not an insult.
No, I'm not saying it is, but
They don't know
they've got used to what they've got used to type of thing. They've got
Yeah.
the tool that's working for them.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm willing to compromise and say, okay, come early next week, we're gonna try the 160, the older one. And it ends up being in this area, because that's where it goes. And let's see what happens going forward. Just, for now, okay? And I'm monitoring accordingly.
I'm just saying,
Because why I'm suggesting or saying about these blades, 2 straight blades, is because a lot of this snow that we're taking off the road, we're using those one-way plows, because you don't want to put those picks down on the ground, right?
Right.
Because you're gonna throw the gravel.
Yeah.
So you're using these one-way plows that are sitting on the ground, and what is it doing to the one-way plow?
Well, our one-way plows, to be honest, we've also, the cutting edges of them are shot. We missed looking at that situation in the pre-winter.
Right.
So we have new cutting edges come forward, sorry, most I didn't, well, I kind of mentioned about it. But anyways, you got the 3/4 inch ones, or you got the 1 inch ones, right?
Right, yeah.
So if we ordered the 1 inch ones, because they're $75 more, and they're $250 each. But the one-way plows right now, the center section's like this. And of course, when you're doing that, you're trying to push down more on it, and of course, then which gets you to taking beating everything else. So if we go with new blades on our one-ways,
Right.
and good shoes on it, and we'll put a curved set of blades on one unit, and let's see where we go forward.
That's what I'm saying. When we
And be honest about it, like, don't
I am honest.
put our blinders on and say, that's what we want,
I am honest,
Yeah.
but when you get this much snow, you don't need a one-way plow. Your mower will take that off.
Yeah, they should be running one
Because what I seen the other day, did a very nice job, don't get me wrong.
They're running too hard in one
But
place.
the plows on the ground wearing them shoes,
Yeah.
and there goes $215, that's $600. How long will they last?
Yeah.
There's 3 on the shoe, right?
On one ways, there's 2 shoes on it.
Just 2?
Yeah.
I guess 2 on each one.
The V's had 3 built,
Well, they're same price, $215 or whatever, for 20.
yeah. But we put the new chalky bars on, which are saving, so but it's a bit of, I'll say it's somewhat operator education. We're working towards that without rocking the boat too hard. We don't want to lose what we already got.
Well, I know,
But
but you might as well, why not learn them
Yeah.
or tell them a different direction,
Yeah.
instead of just let them do it with
Well,
big figures.
the way I look at it, correct me if I'm wrong, Ron, but your one way should probably be about 3 inches off the ground.
Exactly.
And your skids should be about the same thing.
Yeah.
So if your skids are gonna hit, your front's gonna hit everything, or your skids are gonna hit first, then your skid should be a half an inch lower than your one way, or
Yeah.
close to the same.
Well, yeah,
So if they run that 3 inches high and the rest is on the moldboard, we should be gold.
because our moldboards on there, not letting throwing stones right now, with
Yeah.
the picks. And
Yeah.
one way's doing, wearing shoes.
When I was in Annie's out here, I did some homework on a guy that does help the guys with the graders. And if you wanna pass him around, like he does courses. And he'll do a winter course and a summer course.
I don't know if we need it.
Well, I'm just saying, like, he follows with them and he.
Yeah.
I don't think there's gonna be a resolution in regards to this, is there?
So if everybody's okay with that, that's, all right, settles it?
I'm not sure that it did settle it. What I'm finding is we're not supposed to discuss council business outside of council meetings. But the council meetings aren't long enough to cover all the council business. And I get that we have to wrap up. But if we're not supposed to discuss council business outside of the chambers in front of the public, and we don't have time for, like on our agenda, this open discussion or this, or discussing like the public works report right now. If we don't have time to discuss these things at the meetings, but we all have committed to saying, we want to tighten our belt, we want to spend less money, and we want to more efficiently spend money, perhaps is a better way to phrase it. Like, these are the kinds of discussions that we have to have. Because it was within living memory of me being here that, no, picks are where it's at and the picks are staying on and we don't have time to talk about it. Because when I'm looking at all the policy manuals from different regions and different things, if you want us to do a policy, it says, use the right tool for the right job, which Dave has just said. And it's also, if you want to look at the advertising literature for picks, it's to remove ice efficiently. It's about saving fuel and operator time. They're not magic. Like everything I've read and everybody I talk to is, yeah, they're a great tool for a specific job. But then there's this other thing is a great tool for this other job. And it's a matter of the public works foreman making the decisions to flip back and forth. But policy can be dictated by council. And if council doesn't have the right to say, we're spending too much money on picks, we want to save money and be more efficient by going to blades. If council doesn't have that right, then what's the point? Like, it seems to me that when a fellow from Cadmusher, James, if blades are $10,000 more expensive per year, so I'm just doing the math, like using 8 sets at $249 is $1,992. If you multiply that by 2 graders, it's $4,000. So if a real world scenario is somebody is spending $4,000 on blades, but we're told that it costs $10,000 more for blades, like obviously picks aren't negative, like they're not, Dionco isn't sending us a $6,000 check with a bucket of picks. So I don't know where that number comes in because we don't have an identified cost of what the picks are. And again, because I have no experience in this, I would like to see what do the picks cost and what would blades cost. And I would also like
60 in a pail, I think, isn't there? 60 picks in a pail?
No, 30 picks in a pail, $16.50 a piece.
And then what did we spend last year?
16.15.
And what do you spend in a year?
Well, that's where
that's the problem, right?
Where Josh Yonko was giving me the numbers, and those are his numbers. Unless you went back and did a whole bunch of research and pulled all the invoices for the last 3 years, how are you gonna really know?
Well, it would take half an hour. Right?
Well, I just
It can be
counted
done.
pails in there last year, and I think there was 12 or 14 pails in there.
Yeah, so $500 a pail. Ballpark.
So 12 times 500, so $6,000 for
Yeah, but
picks.
how many years did the 12 pails get there though? 1 year or 2 years or 10 years?
Oh, no, they weren't that long. It was, the maximum would be 2 years.
We can pull the invoices
Yeah.
out of the system. We'll just pull the invoices. My concern with this whole conversation is the council's role is not to manage the employees, and we need to rely on our foreman. And I apologize that we don't have a foreman currently, and Dave is acting as that, but I would like for you guys to allow Dave to act as the foreman and do what needs to be done. The reason that we are in such a poor state and everybody was quitting or fired or what have you is because of that involvement. I would ask that council be council. And we've had this conversation numerous times. It doesn't get anywhere. It's very frustrating. But I would ask, maybe if we could review the video that was presented when everybody came on council, the gentleman came to present to everybody what their roles were. It just, the conflict just isn't going away and something needs to change. I don't want these operators to quit. It's hard to find good operators. I think they're doing a good job. I think they're learning as they go. I think Dave is giving good guidance.
But we're combining multiple things then. What we're saying is we're not allowed to make an economic decision and incorporate that economic decision into a written policy because staff management and cohesion of the team. Nobody is suggesting, like Ernie's not going up and yelling at an equipment operator, why you got your picks on? No one is saying that. We're talking about dollars and cents and utilization of a finite resource, which is the aggregate that we have in the Rosedale pit. We're talking about 80,000 pound trucks on roads, et cetera, et cetera. That's all we're talking about. We're not talking about going to the shop and saying to an equipment operator, you're doing something wrong. We're saying it would be more cost effective in terms of how the roads are, how much maintenance they need, how much gravel they require on a yearly basis, and what the tool costs are to do it this way or that, or to switch.
So you're talking about a 5-year study then, Jeff?
No.
That's about where this is going?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly,
Well, 3 years have been gone already and I seen where it went.
we've been putting on more gravel in the last 3 years than we have been earlier in time, right?
So
Remember.
like I said, that's, if we're doing this as a study, we're putting the straight blades on one grader, guys. Okay, come early for 2 weeks, let's see what happens. Side of the road, first snowfall is gonna tell us. There's stones or no stones, right? let's see it. I'm willing to compromise and try it. And then review it, and it's like I say, it's not closed for discussion, and it's not open for discussion, it's something we're gonna try.
Well, we can try it.
You know, it's compromise, right?
Let's try it.
I'm trying to work with you guys.
We've been for a year and nothing's ever happened, that's why we wanna try it.
Are you okay?
We asked for the brand new grader coming with blades. She left it with blades and kept on going. It showed up with it.
So I'm not gonna comment right now.
Right. Anything else?
Status of hiring a public works firm? Do you want to add that, or do you want to leave that? Doesn't matter to me.
That's your CEO decision, right?
February, I guess.
We can do that in February if you don't mind.
I didn't say advice, I said status.
We'll get an update, we'll put that on the agenda for next meeting. We still got this to put on the agenda for next meeting.
Yeah, there's quite a bit in there. For next meeting already. There's already two public hearings for next meeting.
For next meeting.
And then also the delegation for the Yellowhead
Oh,
to present.
right.
So there's, next meeting is gonna have a lot as well.
All right.
Charges you to just come home.
That we now adjourn this regular meeting at 4:19.
No, I get stomach aches.
To meet again on
Because I found I
the,
just keep eating it.
on February 9th,
Colleen brings candy and I just.
2024 at 10 a.m. Do I have a mover?
All of that, Charlie.
We're gonna give it up.
Are we not supposed to have a public hearing?
All in favor?
I'm in favor.